Good evening, everyone, for yet another Turf Wars, fifth week of our Turf Wars event hosted by Rogues Gallery. It's a North American team league for those who are unfamiliar. But casting tonight will be myself, Keen, along with my co-caster, Shafir, and our wonderful observer, Cold Warp Gates. So,
guys?
Yeah, what's up? How you doing, man?
Pretty
Long
good,
time no
man.
see.
Yeah. Rough couple of weeks. How have you been? I missed you. I watched the cast last week. It was a sick cast, man.
I've been doing pretty well. I mean, aside from my devastating loss the last time that I played in Turf Wars myself, I've been doing all right.
I didn't realize you could lose games. You're the guy that beat a dragon. Probably one of the best players in NA, man. Dragon Slayer.
Yeah. Everyone keeps saying that. I'm going to have a rematch with him next week. I'm looking forward to that. Although it's on one of the worst Zerg maps of all time, honestly.
You know, you've lost all credibility when it comes to map balance. You're one of the most biased people. You're essentially the Artosis of Zerg.
Yeah, well, someone has to fill those shoes, right?
No, not necessarily. That's not true.
Well, all right. But I mean, we have some interesting matchups tonight, though. I mean, personally, we have a Whip versus Hawk rematch, Jayun against TT1. I'm expecting Jayun to just get completely stomped by TT1 because TT1 is just a monster. But look, the marquee matchup tonight, Whip and Crane. And Crane is playing Terran against TT1, and Hawk will be filling in for Raz, actually, because Raz is actually getting married. Congratulations, Raz.
Wow, congratulations, man. That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I'm so excited to see Crane playing Terran, honestly. This is a big night.
I don't know why you consider this to be Crane playing Terran. This is going to be Whip playing Terran and Crane with his Vulture UMS. That's all he's going to be doing, man. And you know it, and I know it. Crane barely knows how to play Protoss, man. What I'm excited about is actually Hawk and Whip. Because Whip has like a super sick style where he's hyper aggressive. He likes to dropship play. I'm kind of excited to see what he goes with against Hawk. And Hawk is like sort of the stable, macro oriented strategic player. So I'm kind of excited to see that dynamic. And I'm also excited to see. I haven't seen Jayun Zerg in a while. I don't know if he's been practicing, and we know he's been doing a Terran Artosis challenge recently. So and TT1 has been his PVZ has been looking a little scary. So I think you might be right about that. Let's see if Jayun can prove us wrong.
Yeah, I'm by the same token, like TT1 barely plays at all, but he still manages to be like one of the best PVZers outside of Korea, right? So, yeah, I mean,
were you about to say North America?
I was actually about to say North Korea. And then
well, that's also still true.
Yeah. It technically is still true. But look at the maps. We do have a little bit of a switch up in the maps. So last time Whip and Hawk matched up together was on Ultimate Stream, I believe. This time it'll be on Hidden Track, which I think is like a little bit more of a conventional sort of map layout, whereas like Ultimate Stream had a lot of little like narrow pathways and so on. It's notable for like bringing back FarNat style in ZVP and that sort of thing, which sort of ended up being the case of how that game played out, if I remember correctly. Despite being a ZVT, Hawk kind of just took a third at another natural and used that to secure a bunch of expansions. So we'll have to see if Whip goes for another mech build this time, or goes for a more sort of straightforward Marine Medic bio build here.
Yeah, I know Whip has been practicing his TVZ a lot. I got to opt a couple of games of him versus some of the top Zerg, so he's definitely been prepping for this map and this match, I guess. And yeah, I mean, I think he's going to show us a good game. I know he's definitely the underdog. If you think about it, Hawk is definitely a top 2, top 3 player in NA at the very least, right? You could argue that he's number 1, whereas Whip, he is definitely one of the top Terrans, probably second best after Gypsy in NA. But he's definitely the underdog here. But I know he's been practicing a lot, and I'm kind of excited for this game, man. And I haven't really seen too many games on Hidden Track. I know that's one of the new maps this season. I haven't gotten to play too many, so I'm excited to see how that looks. I know Hawk has a little more experience on it than Whip does, right?
Yeah, Hawk played last week, I believe. But yeah, like honestly, Whip He's definitely a really, really strong Terran. Like you said, probably the strongest North American Terran. I mean, unless you consider Artosis a North American Terran.
Well, I mean, there's Gypsy, right? I mean,
yeah, Gypsy is definitely the strongest, obviously,
yeah.
but Whip is definitely up there. And yeah, he can show amazing games, and I do think he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because the last game that he played against Hawk, he had actually a huge advantage, but he ended up kind of like throwing it a little bit by overexpanding and not producing enough factories. And then the last game he played on Polaris Rhapsody against Striker, he similarly, he felt really bad about that game. I think because he was supply blocked for quite a while. So I would definitely guess if he's really training hard to kind of prove what he's worth, this could be an amazing game.
Yeah, I mean, talking about coming from behind, I guess. Hawk is super patient. I know I once observed a game of him versus Scarlet where Hawk was essentially dead in the water. But I guess the man has nothing to do because he spent the next 45 minutes camping and eventually won the game. He's definitely a super patient player, and even if he's behind, he's not the kind of guy that leaves games very quickly because he always has a chance because it's Hawk. So yeah, I mean, if you're up against and you have a lead against Hawk, the game is far from over. And I guess Whip learned that the hard way, but let's see if he can figure that out tonight.
Yeah, honestly, like Hawk's games are insane. He wins games that I would have like left long ago. I mean, I don't know. He doesn't even expand as much as like normal Zerg players, but he has a very just slow and deliberate style. Just one of the safest players around. So yeah, anything can happen for sure.
Yeah, I know he had said something earlier about not wanting thinking that players expand too much. You know, you should just have 3 or 4 active bases running and focus on the game. You know, the fight. And Hawk has strong opinions about different aspects of the game. Some things that might sound crazy to other people. So, but it's working for him, and the man clearly knows what he's doing. So he definitely has his own unique style.
Yeah, for sure. And I always respect those players the most, honestly. Who don't like, he definitely follows the metagame. He studies pro streams and everything, but he also definitely has his own style for sure. And that's really wonderful to see.
And I don't know if you can catch that. I essentially have a guy with a huge subwoofer going in front of my house. But hopefully that didn't disrupt anything. I think we're almost ready to get into this game, right?
Yeah, we should be starting it shortly.
Awesome. And yeah, man, I saw a Whip in the Twitch chat earlier. So this guy, he's feeling loose, man. He's chilling. So hopefully he puts up a good game. One thing about Whip is you never know what's going to come from him. It could be a dropship style. It could be a raid style. It could be mech. It could be anything. He's one of those guys that doesn't really stick to conventional TBZ. And so, let's see what he brings. And I think we're about to get into the game 1. Whip versus Hawk.
Yeah. Honestly, like these two are almost like diametrically opposed in styles. But we will have Whip in the top left as our blue Terran, and Hawk in the top right as our red Zerg.
Yeah, man. And we see right away Hawk is scouting the right way. And so his Overlord is going to the top left position. I don't know ZVT too well. I barely know my Protoss matchups. What are the things we need to look for sort of early in the game? Like, are we worried about like Whip's gas timing? Are we going to look at if he's going to expand early? Like, what are the main things to look for as a Zerg even?
So, I mean, obviously the big thing is like making sure Terran can do like an ARAX, they can do a BBS, which is, for those unfamiliar with the terminology, it's like a barracks supply, usually in the middle of the map. And ARAX is not an all-in, honestly, but Zerg has to scout it and pull basically like 8 to 9 drones to defend it. If Terran really commits to it with like several SCVs and multiple Marines coming, it forces a pretty significant economic response from Zerg, where you're going to be delaying your mining quite a bit. Barracks supply is kind of a complete all-in, but if Zerg goes 12 hatchery, then they're just going to have to sacrifice that 12 hatchery. But it does look like Whip is opting for the depot first, so we're not going to see any super early rush shenanigans.
Is he gonna wall in? Is that like a link type wall that he's building over there? Like, what is this looking like? And when a Terran wall in, what are you thinking? Is it going to be mech? Do you think it's going to be like a 1-on-1 build?
I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll have to see if Whip takes his gas here, but yeah, it's 12 supply, and he's not going for the gas just quite yet. So honestly, what I'm just going to be guessing here is he's going to go for a very early like 15cc around 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and just use the safety of that wall. It will be a one gap wall, but really there's very little possibility of Lings getting through and doing anything. So he'll be able to get a very early economic advantage with a very quick command center and possibly go to like a +1 4 racks or +1 5 racks build. Which,
Yeah.
it's very, very strong against 2 hatchery mutas.
Does it look like Hawk is going for a 3-hatch build? Like, I assumed he would have taken his gas by now here. Like, what is it looks like it, right? He's setting another drone. I'm assuming that drone's not going after scout. Gonna set up a hatchery probably by the choke. Yep, so it's gonna be 3 hatcheries before gas from Hawk. What is that, like a muta build? I don't know anything about TVZ, man, and I don't know how Hawk plays ZVT. I've seen a lot of his ZVPs, a ton of games with Scarlet and Dragon, not so much of his TVZs. Meanwhile, we don't see any gas coming from Whip here yet, so I think we're gonna probably see more of a standard game coming out of him.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to see just a regular Marine Medic build, and like you said, this is a 3-hatch build. I'm guessing it will be 3-hatch muta. I mean, 3-hatch Hydra is always a possibility, but honestly, I don't know. I haven't really seen Hawk go 3-hatch for quite a long time.
Yeah, it's like an old school build, right? It's like what those guys used to do back in 2009 and 2010. Man, maybe Hawk hasn't been watching as many pro VODs as he thought he was. Too busy staying too long in games and then winning them at the demise of the viewer.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I've definitely seen Hawk go 2-hatch. But yeah, I'm honestly a little surprised because, I mean, Whip is actually someone who does go for like mech builds. He goes for 1-1-1. He goes for like 2-port Wraith, which are all very strong against 3-hatch muta. So it's a little gutsy to go 3-hatch muta against a player like that. But he did kill the SCV, the scouting SCV, so he is going to have map control. We'll have to see if he opts to place a Hydra Den, or if he's just going to go for 2-hatch muta.
I see we're following these circlings here. Looks like he's going for a lair tech here. Yeah, this honestly looks like a TVZ guide from 2009, where the Terran creates a wall, they expand behind it, add another barracks, and Zerg just goes 3-hatch likely into Spire. We see the second gas going up. Given the lair, we probably would have seen a Hydra Den by now if it's going to be a lurker build, right? So yeah, we're likely just seeing a very, very old school. And I'm excited to see that because I want to see Whip more in a standard game. I know that macro, he's not weak at macro, but compared to his micro and early game strategy decision making and whatnot, like it's definitely weaker than that because that's where Whip specializes in. Let's see what that building is right there. That's Aspire. So yeah, confirming. And it's a little bit of an odd placement. I guess he's hoping to not get caught by the scan. Is that what it is? But it would get caught, right? Whip is better.
It might. There's a chance if Whip scans like directly onto the main hatchery, it won't get scanned. But usually Terran's kind of like Whip saw where the 3rd hatchery is, so most likely he'll try to kind of split the difference a little bit and scan in between the two of them. And so he should see it. The thing is, usually one of the reasons Zergs stopped doing 3-hatch was not only 1-1-1, but just the fact that, well, first of all, let's look at this move out here. This is a very early move out. Whip did opt to go for a 2 racks, a CAD. Very early 2 racks, a CAD. And I'm not sure that Hawk is going to be prepared for
Hawk
it.
have any creep colonies set up? Like we saw that he's trying to set up for another base in the bottom right.
Yeah, I think they will be on time. I think just in the nick of time, actually.
Whip stimming, but I don't. Yeah, I think it's just gonna be Hawk catching the system. Yeah, Whip definitely going for an aggressive build here. But so I mean, is it worth it for Whip though? Like he forced 3 creep colonies and sunken colonies. That's 3 drones. All right, I mean. And but if he doesn't get any damage done and he just goes back, like was this worth it for Whip? What do you think is winning right now?
I think Hawk is ahead right now, honestly, because like I was saying, one of the strongest builds against 3-hatch Spire was delaying your barracks production for quite a long time to get a really heavy economic lead and a very early engineering bay for a very early +1 weapons upgrade. So Whip will have delayed upgrades. His 3rd will be a little delayed as well. I mean, Hawk's 3rd will be delayed, rather. But Hawk will be able to just go to town on Whip's SCVs. And he doesn't have to worry about his front getting broken at his natural because he has those 3 sunkens. So I think Hawk will have map control. He'll be able to hurt Whip's economy. And Whip is kind of just sitting there with this early army that he can't do anything with.
I wonder if Whip has his turrets up. We see 8 mutas out for Hawk, 9 coming in, and and he's got his bottom right set up. The turret's getting set up just in time. Let's see what I know that Hawk's Muta Micro is a little different than some other players. Like, he's very good with them, but he doesn't. I guess he's a little more conservative with them, at least from the games I've seen. So let's see if he does that today here. And no, he's just going in.
Yeah, right as you say, he's more conservative. He just dives onto his room. I'm wondering if that was a bit of a misstep or if that was completely intentional. But he is
doesn't look like a misstep
to
me, man. Yeah, no, Whip just lost his entire little Medic Marine group there. I don't know how many barracks he has in his main right now. We have 1 in the natural, and we have 3 more, so it's 4 barracks. But ultimately, his actual Medic Marine count, can we take a look at his net? Like, how much army does this guy have? Yeah, he's got 5 Marines, and there's more mutas than Marines out right now. I think Whip's in trouble here, dude.
Yeah, Hawk is under no pressure whatsoever right now. He's going to be able to tech into Lurkers. He's going to be able to tech into Hive and get his third up.
We see Queens that's popping up right now. Does that mean he's going to go straight from mutas into ultras, or what does that mean?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Well, it does look like he's putting his Hydra Den down at his main right now, so he will be going a little bit delayed Lurker. But yeah, honestly, like, he knows he has the map control right now, so he doesn't really need Lurkers as fast as you usually would if you need them to, like, defend your third.
Yeah. And we see that turret going down. He's frantically trying to put a bunker up, but I think Whip's in a significant amount of trouble. He's going to discover the bottom right, but he's not that much he can do about it. Like, if there's any links coming out, I know that's a fire bat, but, like, there's not a lot Whip can do about that bottom right base. Unless the fire bat can take out the entire base, it's going up, and he's going to get his third gas up. And Hawk is in a full control, man. He's going to get his lurkers up. It looks like, given that he put the Hydra Den down, he's likely probably going to go Defilers, I would assume. And so if once it gets to that point, then I think Whip is in a world of hurt. And yeah, we see the Hives getting started. I don't know if he's upgrading his mutas at all, but even if he's not, it's completely fine. He had no upgrades on the mutas, and it looks fine. He's going to just keep these 8 or 9 mutas that he has, and just, yeah, I don't see a way Whip can move out here.
Yeah, the Firebat, like, splitting off and going to scout expansions is a really strong move, but because Hawk got the extra Sunkens and he delayed the third production for just a little bit longer, there weren't even any drones for that Firebat to kill, really. To get one drone that popped right when it got there, but other than that, really nothing much happening.
Can we take a look at the Whip starports? Does he have vessels coming anytime soon? Like, how's he going to deal with it? Yeah, so we see two port vessels. Science facility is done, so he'll have vessels soon, but it'll be a little bit more until Irradiate is done. And until then, he's got really no recourse against these mutas. Period. This is full. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just reiterating what we've already discussed, man. Hawk's in absolute control of this game right now. There's literally, I'm looking at around 10 Marines here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, maybe 12. This is. Whip's got to get this 2-port vessel up quick.
I mean, I honestly can't emphasize enough how bad it is for Terran when Zerg is this comfortable. When you can get everything up and running and get to Hive Tech and get to Defilers and Ultras and all that stuff without taking any damage, I mean, it kind of flips this matchup on its head. Like, the reason Terran is so strong against Zerg is because they dictate the pace of the game almost always, and they have strong advantages in early and mid game. But if Zerg can go straight to that late game phase without taking any economic damage, then Terran is in for a lot of trouble.
Yeah, we see the Defiler Den done. Hawk catching Whip a little bit with his pants down in the main, but he also called in flashes SCVs and repaired that turret pretty diligently. That was a really good repair, and sort of saved his life, because ultimately that's, those Marines would have had Satan's base and Hawk would have killed him. And I mean, I think my point still stands about Hawk's conservativeness with his mutas. So we saw him dive into the SCV line just once, and that was just then. And then he backed off, and we see a great Irradiate coming down. Oh wow, Hawk is not being able to split that, and he finally gets those out of the clump, but the majority of those mutas are pretty hurt. I think one more Irradiate, he brings it back in for another drive-by Irradiate. Great Irradiate by a Whip. That was definitely necessary.
Yeah, that was a great Irradiate for sure, but honestly, the time for irradiating mutas is kind of over already. Like, I'm not saying Hawk wants to lose those mutas, but if he did, it wouldn't be like the end of the world or anything. But
yeah, it does kind of feel like the game is decided at this point almost. But.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to call the game too early. I mean, Whip is still perfectly healthy. He does have map control now that he has those vessels out, but he can't really. I don't think he's going to break any of these expansions. Like the third, there should be a Nidus Canal up, so he's just going to sit in front and stop any more move outs for a while until Hawk has ultras and defilers out. But yeah, he's definitely feeling the pressure. Like he has to make something happen soon, or else Hawk is just going to start running out of control with the game.
Listen, man, I don't know too much about StarCraft, but I do know that two lurkers on top of a ramp are invincible. But maybe I guess I don't even know that apparently, because Whip forces himself up and takes those lurkers. But if he can get a Darkstorm up, he's fine. And there we go. We see Darkstorm coming up out of the Nidus. So
that was
odd, man.
Yeah, bad timing on that statement, but I mean,
every time I say something, the opposite comes true, man.
That wasn't what I would have expected. I was not expecting Whip to just run straight up into a ramp with lurkers
kind
on
of Mad Marines is Whip calling on, man. He's got Chuck Norris in there. He's got Stone Cold Steve Austin, man.
Yeah, honestly, I might chalk that up to being a little unfamiliar with the map. Maybe the lurkers were a little too far down the ramp, but he is cleaning this up now. Killing those vessels really hurts too, because I mean, what does Whip have? 2 vessels now. He has two Star
Probably
Force
has 2 vessels and 8 Marines, and that's Whip's army right now, man. I don't have as much journalistic integrity as you do. I'm calling the game.
Wow.
I can't see a Whip way back into this game. I've watched enough. I've watched so many TVZs, man. I don't know anything about it, but when I watched it and their Korean casters screaming, they're not excited anymore at this point in the game, man. I don't see how Whip can get back in unless there's like a crazy drop with his drop ships.
Yeah. I mean, one of the win conditions I was going to say is getting up a critical mass of science vessels, because they just get so much value every time they hit 75 energy. A high value Zerg unit gets severely damaged or straight up dies. But yeah, he's just lost all of his vessels, so he's in a really hard position right now.
Yeah, we've got some straggler refuge. Oh, we're gonna try to take a third here. But I mean, I think if Hawk can get to Whip's natural and set up a Darkstorm, I mean, and we see 6 SCVs getting transferred. I don't know if he's mining out of his main just yet. We see a lot of SCV transfers coming in. Yeah, he's getting close to mining out of his main, probably his natural as well. So I mean, soon Whip is going to be on 1 base, and it's not looking good. And we see Hawk starting to make the final move, although he's just moving out with a small group of units and not moving all of his units together, which is a little odd. Hawk's army looks a little smaller than I expected.
Yeah, Zerg's armies are always going to be small, even in the early late game. No, it's just how the mechanics of the matchup work, really. Until you get 4 gases, like, you don't want to be making that many fighting units until you have, like, you just want the bare minimum of lurkers and defilers to survive, and then also secure your 4th gas, and then you can start pumping, upgraded cracklings and upgraded ultralisks, and then you can start taking control of the game.
Oh wow, I didn't realize cracklings needed upgrades, man, because those things are insane. It's bonkers, bro. It's like having a Chihuahua on steroids.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar. I mean, maybe not quite as important as in ZVP, but upgrades are still very important in ZVT as well. If the Terran army is like 3/3 and you're just starting to get your Zergling upgrades, like, they're not going to do any damage to those Marines, really.
Yeah, we see Whip going down to the bottom right, see if we can get anything done, but Hawk forecasted that and set up a Darkstorm there. He's also going to find this completely unsuspected third base of Whip right now, and his Muta Preservation comes in handy here, because he's just able to run in and do a little damage here, and I think he should be able to take out the Marines. Not sure how many mutas are in that clump, but ultimately, I mean, he's not going to let that live. We see a bunch of cracklings coming in. Yeah, I mean, Whip is going to be forced to essentially try to defend his third versus being aggressive, and Hawk is setting up his 4th gas. So it's whenever you're on the defensive in this position as turn, it's not a good feeling. As their Gus successfully takes their 4th gas, that's always a bit of a
yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is such an awkward third for Whip to defend as well. Like, I'm surprised he didn't even build a bunker or anything for that small handful of Marines. But yeah, it's going to be quite a pain for him to bring more groups down. And he's just going to start getting picked apart if he has all of his army all over the place like this.
Yeah, man, those Marines needed a bunker, man. They should call their union. This is the employers being way too cheap. Like, you imagine you're just like 3 Marines guarding a whole base and an army of be steroid chihuahuas coming after you. Oh, but they're gonna defend. There was some reinforcements, but and he's taking up fourth as well, taking where Hawk was gonna take his fifth. So a little bit of an awkward situation. Sometimes, have you ever been in a PvP where you're both trying to proxy get in the middle, and it's just sort of a gentleman's awkwardness?
I can't say that I have, but yeah, that sounds weird.
The Protoss is in the chat know what I'm talking about.
You just make the gateways by each other.
Yeah, you just sort of don't bother each other. You have like a gentleman's agreement. We see a bunch of ultras coming in. They're getting kind of smacked. Well, the ultras are alive, and once the Darkstorm is up there, invincible.
Well, they do have that one fire bat in there.
Dude, that guy's doing work.
Yeah.
He's got a flamethrower in there, and he's just spinning in his chair.
Fortunately, like, I don't know, don't ultras have some sort of like weird like chitinous armor or something? Like, I can't imagine flames do a lot against that. But okay, Whip taps out.
Yeah, Whip taps out. Yeah, ultras are on something else, man. And yeah, we're gonna see a 1-0 lead for what is this team? What's the name of this team, man? Is this Revival? No,
they're a smacked squad.
No. The winning team was Dogecoin Millionaires.
Oh yeah, right.
That's
right.
because Doge never goes down, and if you don't pay attention to crypto, you would know that Doge always goes up because it's a stock.
Yeah, that's definitely how it works. Yeah, I mean, let's be real here. I'm part of Dogecoin, and we have not lost a match yet. So we're against Team Smack Squad, which has literally lost every match so far. So,
yeah, it must be because of you, Keen, because while they're playing these games, you're here casting with me. So
that's
the next matchup here is going to be Jae-Yoon versus TT1. Two old NA heads, man. These are like the stalwarts of the NA scene. Both boomers who are trying to find time to play this game. But I'm a little worried for JY because I know he's been playing a lot of Terran the last couple of days. I know he's had the week off. As I think he's had a lot of free time this last week, and he's just been trying to get like to 2200 as Terran. So I haven't seen him play a lot of Zerg, so I don't know how he's gonna deal with TT1 Zealots, man.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for just spending his week practicing an off race because, let's face it, these guys already know they're going to lose. They're in last place, and they're going to stay there for the foreseeable future. They'll probably be the first knocked out in the playoffs, so they've pretty much resigned themselves to this loss.
This is a lot of confident talk from a guy who just barely got drafted. That's insane, man. I mean, but I do agree. It seems like he may have given up on the season. Let's see if he can pull out something against TT1. What I want to say about TT1 is he plays PvZ the way I want to be able to play PvZ. Like, his style is insane. That's something I want to copy. If only he would take me as a student, but I heard he's fully booked with other students currently. So
yeah, he definitely spends a lot of time teaching people for sure.
I think he's got some pretty talented pupils. I think Shoop is his people. So unfortunately, there's just no time for someone like myself.
Yeah, teaching Shoop is definitely a full-time job. He is unable to care for himself.
Yes, I think we're just waiting to get into the J1 TT1 game. I do think Jae-Yoon did beat DeWalt, who is, you could probably say, is the best non-Korean player in the world. It's him or Bonnet, right? So there's no other really person in the discussion. I know Tara just won BSL, but I in my opinion, it's still him or Bonnet. So JY definitely has a bunch of tricky builds that you likely don't rely too much on your practicing your macro mechanics as Zerg. Ultimately, like, the Zerg has a lot of options against Protoss that Protoss doesn't have as many options against Zerg, in my opinion. I'm sure you'll disagree, but let's see if Jae-Yoon can pull out a bag of builds.
Yeah, well, honestly, I think winning the game early with like Spielings or some kind of cheese is his best bet, but I don't think that'll work either. I think TT1, his style, his opening builds are on point, and his opening micro with Zealots is just really insane. So
yeah, I heard really good things about his mechanics. I've never seen an FP out of his, but I hear that everybody just raves about TT1's mechanics. It definitely comes through in this like sort of control. Like, he's a guy that is comfortable sort of going for any strategy. I've seen him just throw Reaver and just control Reavers properly, like, which is rare to see in the foreign scene, honestly. Only a few players really do it, like Bonnet being one of them. So TT1 is yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what he's got here, and I'm kind of hoping Jaehyun brings out like a tricky build here. I don't think he's been practicing Zerg enough, but like even despite that, Zerg can always pick up wins against Protoss. So okay, no, I thought he was gonna go turn for a second. I was like, that's insane. But yeah, we're gonna see a ZVP Jaehyun Jiggery Smacks versus Doge TT1. Is that how you pronounce that? Jiggery? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll ask a Korean. And yeah, we have TT1 as this sort of a puke yellow Protoss in the mid bottom left, and Jaehyun is the off-white eggshell Zerg in the mid bottom right. Right away we see the Overlord going in the right direction, and there is a drone, so this isn't a 4-pool yet. So
yeah, not yet. Yeah, like already a slight advantage for Jaehyun, honestly. I mean, getting the first scout is always nice.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like TT1 is basically going to do the same thing he's been doing, though. Surprisingly, even though he always opts for a lot of zealot pressure early, he almost always goes 10 gate rather than 9 gate.
Mm-hmm.
Really valuing just the early probe economy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. The screen gone. Okay, it's back. Yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable casting this because I really PBZ is probably is my favorite matchup to watch, and I love watching a good Protoss player play PBZ. So I'm kind of excited for this. 10 gate, yeah, definitely the eco version of the gate expand versus the 9 gate. The difference with the 10 gate is that you sort of aren't really able to punish like a 12 hatch as much. But it makes more sense because a lot of Zerg switch over to 11 hatch anyway to accommodate for the 9 gate aggression. And we see he's actually going for the no scout after the gate, so we're gonna see some like sort of mini build type shenanigans. Wonder if he's gonna go for like extreme greed. Jaehyun going for an overpool here, which doesn't really punish this build actually. This is just like the perfect build, the 10 gate no scout against an overpool.
Yeah, and I don't know if Jaehyun hasn't been watching our games or the Turf Wars games, but TT1 has been doing this for a while now. He does the 10 gate and he doesn't scout, so he gets an even greater economic boost, and he really doesn't delay his economy at all. He just continuously pumps out probes and continuously harasses with his early zealots. And even though Jaehyun is going for an overpool, right? Like TT1 is just so good at getting value from every single one of his zealots. Even if he like gets even trades with his early zealots with his first couple, like he's just going to keep sending them out. He's going to pressure the third. He's going to get each and every zealot behind minerals. So at the very least, it's going to be an even trade. Most likely, it'll be advantageous trades for the zealots versus the lings. And yeah, he's just going to have such a great early mid-game timing with like an extremely robust economy and just a lot of gateway units.
Yeah, this is really ballsy for TT1. He's no scout, sending the first zealot out. Like if this was a 9 pool speed, or even an overpool speed, he'd be in a little bit of trouble right now. Or a 9 pool. There's a number of builds. He just assumed that Jaehyun. Let's check the middle for the yep. So the lings are just going to ignore the zealot. Zealot's also going to ignore the lings. The zealot is just sort of a pause there. I think TT1 sort of okay. Now he's got it. But he's only got one zealot that's not popped yet in the natural. He's going to have to pull probes. Yeah, I think if Jaehyun controls this correctly, he can actually take this win right here because TT1 didn't pull back. You're supposed to pull back when you see 6 links. TT1 was way too aggressive with the first link. I don't know, and he's attacking his own nexus. I've done that before. And Jaehyun might take this game, man. TT1, this is one of the issues with no scouting. You can't just send out the zealot, man. TT1's overconfident. And I know he's done this successfully, but you can't just send out a zealot like that against 6 links. And especially when you see them run by, you're screwed.
Yeah, a little overzealous there.
And yeah, he takes out the pylon. There's only one zealot, and there's no zealot making now because there's no pylon powering it. So Jaehyun is just going to be rallying links here, man. I think Jaehyun might have done it here as long as he controls these links properly. Yeah, we got 6 probes pulled. This nexus is going to go down. I'll probably just cancel it.
He's going to need more probes.
Yeah, he's going to need more probes, and I think he's sending them. But we see more links coming in. We see Jaehyun took his gas. There's no drones mining gas anymore, so speed is on the way.
Yeah, this is completely all in from Jaehyun.
I mean, yeah, this is the right move. Though. When you see like this mistake coming in from the Protoss, you have to. A good Zerg needs to be able to capitalize on that. And Jaeyoon, I think, caught a lucky break, man, because this is a big mistake from TT. I think overconfidence from TT1 here.
Yeah, well, this was planned though. This wasn't like a reaction. Jaeyoon got a very. He still doesn't have his third hatchery making. Got a very early gas, which is really punishing TT1 because that first out wasn't even able to get into the main. And yeah, TT1 actually.
It takes the win, and you don't need a third hatchery if the Protoss doesn't have a natural, man.
Yeah,
you're worried about Jaeyoon's macro. Like, this guy doesn't have a base. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, well played by Jaeyoon. Like we were mentioning, that is exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if Jaeyoon was going for an all-in, but once you realize that the guy went one zealot into Nexus and he just sent the zealot out, that's a huge, that's a risk that the Protoss takes, and just punishable by 6 lings.
I will say that he got a very early gas. When you get a gas before 3 minutes before your third hatchery, you're almost always intending to, if not necessarily an all-in, but you're intending to do damage with your lings. You're intending to put a lot of pressure on the Protoss.
I thought a 245 gas was pretty standard ZVP.
No,
that's the timing I look for, man.
Not against Gate. You almost always want to get your third hatchery up before you make your gas.
Okay. All right, so we see this series tied 1-1. I think the next match here is going to be our team melee. It's going to be Whip and Crane versus TT1 and Hawk, and it's going to be Whip playing Terran and Crane controlling 3 vultures, and it's going to be TT1 playing Protoss and Hawk controlling a probe. So I'm kind of excited to see this. Now Hawk is probably going to do a lot of the vast majority of the micro for TT1. Whip is scary on this map, man. I've seen him play TVPs on this map, and he loves his dropship play, especially on this map.
Yeah, so Hawk isn't a Protoss player. I mean, despite the fact that he's very skilled, we have seen some issues with that. But like last week, for example, it's not that Hawk's micro is bad necessarily, but it's just that he doesn't have as much experience with knowing where he should be moving, what he should be doing with the army necessarily. So, the team melee team got smacked pretty hard last week against, I think, Crossy and Jaeyoon. Oh no, it had to be a different Zerg team, Striker and Machine rather. So we'll have to see if Hawk can do a little bit better against Terran, but honestly, I think it's maybe a little more straightforward microing Protoss units against Terran compared to microing against Zerg. I don't know. What's your take on that? Like, do you think it might be a little easier for an off-race player to micro units in this matchup?
It's definitely tougher. I mean, any off-race, if it's a Protoss controlling a Terran unit or a Terran, you know what I mean? It's always a bit of a different experience because there's some like little quirks about army control that you only really know if you play that every day, just about timing events. So, I mean, ultimately, like, while it's useful, it's definitely a bit of a different experience. And also, you mentioned Striker and Machine around the team together. That's such a good team in my head. I think of those guys as like Strikers. I feel like is like a better version of Machine, but they play very similar and they're both great guys. So that's such a good like team melee team in my head, man.
Yeah. I mean, Machine is like the nicest guy too. So just
that's why. Yeah, that
team.
guy's like the nicest guy in the world. Striker's a bit of an asshole. We all know that, but that's fine.
Yeah.
He's got Machine to
balance. Striker is just more subtle about it than everyone else, but we all know deep down.
I mean, yeah, Striker is literally the worst.
Basically Hitler.
Basically, yeah, I was gonna say that, but I wasn't gonna go that far. I didn't want to
say it, but
we're both thinking
there. Like, he's basically a genocidal dictator.
Exactly. Speaking of genocidal dictators, we have the Protoss on the top right. It looks blue, but on the mini map it's gray, so that doesn't really make a lot of sense. And then we have the blue Terran Whip and Crane on the bottom left. Wiggery and Kiggery. Max.
And we have 2 players that are yellow. I mean, what's that all about?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if we can hit Shift Tab or something, if that'll help with these colors. Yeah, that's a lot better. Let's do that.
How did Blizzard even decide on this color palette for this game? Like, I feel like they actually made it worse somehow.
Well, now it's better. So now we have the red Terran on the bottom left and the blue Protoss in the top right. We see a forward pylon with you handle. Oh, these guys are not on voice, man. This is amateur hour, man.
Yeah, well, see, in case anyone is unfamiliar with TC1, he has an extremely odd aversion to using a microphone. So it's like an automatic, like.
I'm sure
You know,
Sugo can send him
little-
one of his Wish.com microphones. I wonder if we're going for a gas seal here, and that looks like exactly what we're going for. And I wonder if this is going to be a 4 gate. Can we check the natural? Let's see if that's a gate going up. And that should be a 11 gate. Is that a mistake? I don't know, but that is a gate going up. It's too early for mistakes, TT1. You're supposed to be good. No, it's probably because he put the gas up. I'm just being a jerk. And Hawk is probably just controlling that probe as his full-time job here. See if he can get delay this barracks at all.
Yeah, and we know that Whip is also controlling that SCV because Crane would not be able to micro an SCV that well, even if it's the only thing that he's doing.
That I agree with that, man. I heard Crane struggled with essentially anything, including one base carrier, which is sort of a D rank ladder build for PvP. But you know what? Crane's a D rank player. What are you gonna do? And this SCV getting dangerously close to dying, man. I think it's at like 20 health or something. Yeah, he's gonna go take his pension and he's going home. And that probe is gonna find him. Probe's looking. Did he get him? Oh, that is so tilting, man. Whip is pissed. Crane is probably like secondhand tilted here, man. Crane is
honestly, I feel like Crane probably doesn't care at all.
Are you upset with Crane? Is it because he beat you recently?
No.
There's Zealot popping out and heading towards the turn base.
If he loses Mars, though.
Oh man, yeah. I'm actually. So I have no dog in the fight. Like Mars is my clanmate and Crane is a friend. So I like seeing Mars lose. I really enjoy it. I know Mars is listening. It's like pure entertainment for me when Mars loses. So I hope he wins, but I'd be very, very entertained if he loses. So I don't mind either outcome. We see a natural going up. Let's check the natural really quick for the Protoss. Yeah, so we see a bunch of Zealots being rallied over. Protoss hasn't taken his gas yet, so he's just gonna do a lot of Zealot harass and expand behind him. But he's got to take his gas soon, man. And you don't want to underestimate the strength of a bunch of Marines. We see they're continuing to build Marines, so there's a good chance we're gonna see an SCV pull and a Marine push here.
Yeah, I mean, so part of the reason why I'm giving Crane so much shit isn't actually the loss, but it's actually because for those unfamiliar with the history, in another StarCraft Discord, Crane actually agreed to do a off-race grudge match against a lower level player once, but he played like 5 games of his off-race and then immediately decided that he was going to he refused to do the grudge. He just like dipped out.
So you're upset with Crane for an off racing that happened 6 months ago, not because he smacked you like yesterday, right?
Yes.
Okay, just to be clear, everybody, it's not because Crane smacked him yesterday. It's because he didn't want to play Zerg against somebody 6 months ago. Just so everyone's clear.
Yeah, well, if you agree to a grudge match, you can't just drop out. I mean, come on, that's again.
And we see the SCV pull, man. I'm a fucking fortune teller, man. Tasa's got to call me when he says all of his I don't knows during his cast. I do know. I know what's happening, man. And yeah, so Hawk is asking for a shield battery. There's gonna be no shield battery, man. There's no shield battery started. It's a wrap, bro. There's a bunker going up. You got 2 zealots. 2 zealots are nothing. 1 SCV can kill 1 zealot. That's a fact. Oh, there's 4 zealots. Never mind. He's fucked.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man.
I didn't see the other 2, man. This is I think the Whip is screwed.
That was really good, catching that 1 zealot with the SCVs, but I just don't know about this.
But if he can get a single Marine into that bunker, it's going to be a problem. He's got to get that Marine.
Oh my god.
Just barely.
That was fucking clutch.
Oh, he's going to try to... this is special ops training. Let's go. Nope, he's not going to do that.
Dude, that was insane.
That was insane. Yeah, that bunker is going to go down. And TT1 Hawk are going to live. But we do see the naturals going up for the Terran. We did have to pull a few probes. SCVs are all going back. I would say the Protoss is pretty ahead, but it's definitely not an unwinnable game for a Terran. They're not out of it. Their supplies are really close, especially for this early in the game. And yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it definitely looks like Protoss is ahead, but Protoss doesn't have that much tech up. Let's see his Goon range. I don't think he's done. Can we take a look inside the Protoss main instead of following this Dragoon? Oh, good. Thank you. And we see a Forge. We see Goon range isn't done yet. I don't know what the Forge is quite for, though. It's a little confusing. It's a little bit early for a Forge. We see another Nexus going up. But I mean, it's a good position for the Protoss, but I don't think it necessarily means it's game winning. There's only 1 Dragoon out, and there's no range. Once this bunker is up, I think it is.
I don't know, man. Terran is not in a great position here.
Do you know how strong SCVs are, man? I think these goons are just dead in the water. Is there a factory up? Is there a Okay, so the tank is on the way.
Literally just started making.
Yeah, so I mean, once the tank is out, he should be okay. But this is definitely. Why we changed the colors? What was that? Warp kids. Okay. But yeah, I mean, okay. So Whip and Crane defend. He's gonna pump some medics, some Marines to get into that bunker. Tank should be out soon. I'm wondering if he's gonna go siege first or if he's gonna go mines first. Knowing Whip prefers mines, but in this position, it might be better to go siege. But we see nothing getting attacked, so we'll see.
I don't think the window for like going mines first being an effective option is still open. Like usually it's kind of a tool for pressuring and just getting map control and map vision right. But given the fact that they're so far behind now, I don't see the point of that.
I still don't think they're as behind as you think they are, man. I think Terran is behind, but it's definitely not that far behind.
I feel like I feel like you might be a little biased in this instance. Because
why would I be biased in favor of? Because I think Protoss and Terran. No, I think Protoss is favored in PvT in general. I completely agree to that. I do think that it looks like if to the uneducated viewer that this is completely Protoss like favored right now. But I think it's a little more close than it looks. Protoss doesn't have his Stargate or Citadel or anything set up. He doesn't have a second gas up. He's just transferred probes to his third. Protoss is not in some crazy position. But from this position, it's going to be hard for the Terran to take a third because Protoss is going to have full map control once they decide to go out on the map. So Whip and Crane might just need to go for a 2-base strategy here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you are the more experienced Protoss player, so I'll defer to your authority.
There's no authority. I'm pretty bad at this game. I do think Protoss is ahead. I just don't think it's unwinnable. Because the Terran didn't lose that many SCVs. Supply counts are looking pretty close, and the Terran's tech, Protoss tech isn't that ahead. We see a bunch of gateways going up in the main. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's one in the natural, but there's no Stargate or Templar Archives up yet. And second gas is still not up, so it just went up, but the probes just started mining it. So yeah, I mean, Protoss is in a great position, but it's certainly possible for the Terran here.
I'm not exactly sure what like tech and army composition TT1 is going to be going for, but I do know that like since he's playing with a player who's off racing, he's probably going to want to go like gateway heavy units. So we might see kind of a storm drop like shuttle situation here. I'm not really sure if he's like up to date on his builds because he is fairly inactive, but I would think that would be a pretty decent option.
Well, for storm drops and shuttles, we would need a Templar Archive or the Reaver support bay for the speed. I think we see either of that. It looks like he's just going to go Gateway Man. He's just going to go and play Deny the Third, which I think is the right move here. I don't think he needs to tech. I think he has enough of a lead that if you don't tech Stargate, you can just bring out a massive army and be able to take a fourth. And it looks like he might be setting up to take that mid-right. Mid-bottom right, Protoss. I don't know what those units are over there. Yeah, so he's setting up to take that. And with the massive army out, you can just deny the Terran third forever. And you don't really need Arbiters if the Terran can't take a third, you know what I mean? So I think TT1's playing this in a pretty interesting, but I think it's a pretty productive way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess either way, when you go into that advanced tech, it's a little awkward for someone who's off racing to deal with it. But if it's just straight up gateway units, then it's literally brain dead. Just run into the Terran army and attack.
Yeah, I mean, it is brain dead, but it's effective. And we see the supply count is just shooting up for Protoss. We see a Templar Archive, but no Stargate, so that just means he's gonna go for Storm. And maybe some DTs, but probably Storm, maybe DTs and deny bases. But speed is probably almost done at this point, and I think once another round of units come out, I think they're just gonna get out on the map. And the weird thing I see is that and this is the first observer I've seen all game, so they don't really have. Protoss doesn't really have a great idea of if when Terran's moving out, what Terran has. We see some units in the middle of the map, scouting, I guess, just checking what Terran has, mostly just because there has been no observer up until now. So it's an interesting way to play. Some players like to play lower observer count, and we see this observer going after the natural. But yeah, man, I mean, Protoss is blind, but they're way ahead. Yeah. So.
Yeah, 40 supply, almost 50 supply ahead now.
Yeah.
I mean, TT1 is known for its macro, right? And when you get through, your third expansion up, your fourth expansion up that early before Terran even has their third up, it's pretty easy to just run away with the game.
Yeah, we see a Stargate in the natural, but this is the gateway man speed lap push I was sort of expecting. It would be a little more useful just to get just one shuttle, maybe some zealots, be able to zealot bomb. Once these dragoons are dead, and there's only like 4 dragoons, he's gonna have to back up. I mean, but like it looks like he's just gonna eat through this army, which I didn't expect. These zealots are just doing work, man. And yeah, no, whoever's controlling that has much better control than I've ever had in PvT, because I would have lost my entire army at this point.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it definitely went better than I expected for Protoss, given the early results of the fight where the goons went in first.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
But I mean, yeah, like I don't know. I do think the Zealots maybe could have gotten it first and gotten a little more work done if the Dragoons didn't all die. But I mean, regardless, they just steamrolled that.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of mine set up either, and it almost felt like Hawk was listening, because I was like, a shuttle would have been great. Hawk was like, who needs a shuttle when you have speed lots? But I mean, it looks like the Terran's gonna live. I mean, once the Protoss is out of Dragoons, a bunch of Zealots can't really kill the Terran. It's just, I mean, you can try, but it's just not gonna work. And we see another round of units, more Zealots, man. This is like a PVZ. This is like one of my PVZs when I was a CPL player, and just going 4 gate speed lot. There's no Dragoons to be found. It's hard to really kill a Terran without Dragoons. You can do a lot of damage, but mines are just insane, man. But there's still no third for this Terran, man. He's got to send his command center back sheepishly. Meanwhile, Protoss has 4 bases up. We see 3 Stargates. Maybe we'll see carriers. Who knows? Why do you need 3 Stargates?
Yeah. I mean, having your tanks reset like that, like how many tanks was that they lost? Like at least 12, right?
All of them, I think, is the
yeah. No, I know.
Doesn't
but
matter if there is 6 or 8. The answer is that he has 0 tanks left.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. He has 0 tanks now, so.
Well, he has 2 now, so that's where we are. Yeah, man. I mean, but he's gonna try to take this third. The lack of observers might let him get away with this, because TT1 and Hawk don't really. There's an observer like over the factory. There's no observer checking the third and the movements leaving out of the base. At least not that I can see. Maybe there is. This gray color is a little bit difficult to see, but I just think they would have been really well served by having just having these move outs, because if Terran can take this third up and get some tanks, maybe some supply depots set up there, it's a tough break. Yeah, TT1, if you're listening to me, TT1, he's like obs, spread obs for vision. Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying this whole time, TT1. But yeah, if Terran can get this third up, there's a chance. But yeah, definitely this is Protoss' game to lose. I see an Arbiter coming in. I don't know if Stasis is done yet, but he has the energy for it. Definitely doesn't have the energy for recall, so maybe he's looking for a good clump to Stasis. I think he would have been better off chasing the ones in the back and killing the ones in the front, right? Because now he's got to go actually make this journey, but he's got so much army that might not even matter. Because now those guys are still alive, but he might just go deny this third again. Ultimately, man, there's not a lot of ways for Terran to win here. Maybe I was wrong earlier, and the lead was a lot bigger for Terran than I had thought. I mean, for Protoss than I had thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wrong all the time, so it's fine. That's no shame. What is that building going up above the command center?
I think another command center. A bit of wishful thinking.
That's ambitious, yeah.
Like I know we're
might as well.
we're under intense pressure right now, and our base and their entire army is dying. But what's the angle to take that fourth?
I mean, listen, man. If you're behind, it's not a bad move. If you're gonna lose, they'll try to get away with something. We do know that the Protoss hasn't been great at spreading their vision across the map, and yeah, a lot of zealots, and we've only got 4 tanks left in the team for this turn. So I think it's a matter of time. As long as Protoss keeps macroing and looking at the numbers, it looks like they are, and they're setting up 2 more bases. It's a rough season for Terran here, man.
Yeah, and as a Protoss player in this matchup, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like these trades are amazing. Like it doesn't matter that they're losing all their units. Just the fact that they're resetting the tank count and killing Terran units, like especially the tanks, like they take a long time to make and they're very expensive. So, I mean, Protoss never wants to stay at 200 supply, right? Like they just want to start resetting the Terran
Yeah, you want to
Army.
continue trading, and your tanks, you can only make them out of 2 or 3 factories, right? Not all their factories can make tanks, so it's always good to reset the tank count because it takes longer to remake. You can make 1,000 vultures at a time, but only 2 factories can make tanks. So it's always good to trade, especially when you're at this point. You're at 170 supply. Like you want the Terran to continue to have to rebuild the tank count. Once the Terran gets to like a tank count that is, nice, and then they have like 3-2 upgrades. Like it doesn't even matter how far ahead the Protoss is. Like the Terran has a chance. So you don't want them to get to that point. Yeah, definitely better to stay aggressive here as long as you keep macroing. And team melee is a little easier to do that, right? So.
Yeah, and like at the same time, it's also we haven't even touched on the fact that you can actually go above 200 supply, which makes Terran even more terrifying.
Oh yeah, imagine a 400 Terran supply, dude. Like 88 tanks coming at you, like 200 vultures. I don't know if those numbers work out, but I think I've had those nightmares before, man.
Yeah, close enough. I'm sure they're accurate.
I think those numbers are accurate, man. I'm a data scientist, trust me. I'm literally a professional scientist.
Yeah, Are you a doctor as well, or?
I mean, I might as well be. I just chose not to be. There's sometimes I also chose not to be in the NBA because I don't. I just don't want to. I want to live a humble life. There are things I do, and that's one of them.
Yeah, you don't want to be fake.
Exactly. I want to be true to myself. I don't want the riches. I don't want the fame.
In fact, it'd probably be too easy. It wouldn't even be like a struggle.
Exactly. People would criticize me for taking the easy route. That's why I said to be a professional scientist. We see these zealots killing all the SCVs. The Terran is mined out in the main, probably mined out in the natural. So definitely mined out in the main, man. There's a supply depots with it, and yeah, those guys are almost done. So yeah, man, it's just a timer for Terran. This guy's almost ready for nothing. He got 91 energy, can't do shit. It doesn't matter. There's gateways getting rallied to Terran natural. You don't want to just lose everything for nothing. You want to trade. Part of what we were discussing earlier involves trading. So yeah, Protoss can't just forehead into the Terran natural, but at the same time, like Terran's got to make a big move to be able to even have a chance. Is that a term, to forehead into something? I don't know.
I was thinking about that. I'm not really sure what that means, but I agree with you.
I'm not sure what it means either, but I know what I want it to mean. And as long as I understand it, that's all that matters to me. Dude, he's not even making arbiters. I like the base layout, man. It's a lot of gateways. You got 4 arbiters in a natural. You could probably just go kill them with arbiters. See a bunch of high Templars coming out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases for Protoss, and a Terran is on 3. We count out mine bases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, there's no chance, man.
Yeah, but the game goes on.
Yeah, what do you think Crane and Whip are doing right now? They're probably talking about they're going to order food after this.
I hope it's something good, because they're definitely going to need to treat themselves after this devastating loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how they're going to be able to cope. I mean, Crane, I can already feel he's going to be in shambles.
Yeah. As we discussed previously, he cares deeply about his performance with his off races. So
Exactly. And shame on him for that. So, recently I won an off race grudge match against Packrat.
Oh, really?
I beat him with my Terran.
Wow,
I'm a fucking god. Oh, great EMP from Whip. Or Crane, really maybe impressive. That was an EMP from Crane. Yeah, man. I'm basically Flash. Terran is such an easy race to play, dude.
Yeah, sure. I agree. Especially TVZ.
Actually, TVZ felt really difficult, but everything else probably pretty hard.
That's interesting. That you, what did you run into? What was your difficulty with the TVZ show match that you won?
Oh, all of it, man. It was insanely difficult. Dude, did you know that if medics are in the same group as Marines, you can't stim because these medics are lazy and don't want to stim. They don't want to take the cocaine that's the mistake. It's a broken game. Yeah,
that's crazy having to put them in separate control groups.
Dude, I don't even use control groups.
I believe that.
Unfortunately, dragging and clicking doesn't work as well, and it's not fair, is what I think. We see some good storms, but it's just going into this shredder, man. Listen, the Eclipse is one of those maps where you can only have one group of gateways. There's no room in all the other bases. So if Protoss keeps just suiciding his army, if Terran just gets a good army together and sieges his natural, Protoss could put himself into a bit of trouble. I know this because I've done this myself and blown huge leads that way. So yeah, I mean, I don't think TT1 and Hawk should take this game for granted, and make sure to play smart and to not keep denying the fourth. Is what they need to do here. Don't, just stop trying to kill them right now. Just deny the fourth, and they're gonna start. So I'm sure TT1 knows that. So, but they're walking into the shredder here. There's another way to get to the fourth, man. They just go up. Oh, great recall right on top of the tanks. Every time I do this, I lose my entire army. It just doesn't seem fair.
So, I don't know. How are you feeling about this game?
I think this game was over about 15-20 minutes ago. I would say there's only 21 minutes into the game, so that might be a little longer. But
yeah, it was probably over like 25 minutes ago.
yeah, it's because Crane is involved, and it has nothing to do with that he smacked you. It's because of the Zerg grudge match. The next match is actually Crane and Raz PvP. Crane's pretty strong PvP, and so is Raz. So I'm actually pretty excited to see that. And if Crane and Whip lose, as I expect them to do in this game, and the way it looks, it's a must-win for Crane, man.
Yeah, no, I actually think that's a good matchup. I definitely think Crane could beat Raz. And I know that Raz is, I think they pre-played, because like I said, Raz is actually getting married today, so.
Imagine putting your wedding above Rogue's Gallery.
I know, it's so rude.
Man has no commitment. Absolutely no commitment. Shame on you. Yeah, man. I don't know what Hawk and TT1 are doing here, man. I don't know why they're going in with paltry. I guess it might still work, but every time they're coming in, it's like 6 Dragoons and like 15 Zealots, right? And it's not. I don't know, man. It's not the right move here. Because if they continue to do this, then Terran can actually take out top left, because Protoss doesn't have an army. I think I would bet that a significant amount of their population right now is in probes. And so, what is this transfer that we're seeing between the third and the fourth of Protoss? What is this? Okay, there's some army here, but it's still not that much. It's about a dozen Dragoons. Like, if Protoss keeps suiciding, and Terran is able to siege top left and then take top left, Terran's back in this game. I mean, they've got to play smart, and we see them we see Terran starting to siege top left. I think Protoss still has a massive lead, but there is a way to throw given the way they're going about this game right now.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact that a significant part of their supply might be in probes, but honestly, I'm wondering how TT1 is approaching this match. I wonder if he's actually kind of like resting on the amount of probes that you have in a normal 1v1, which I think would be a mistake, because honestly, they could have like 200 probes right now and still be fine. As long as
we saw that drag game though, like when Dragon, what was it, Sugo played Crossy and Jaeyun, and they had like a 260 supply or something, but their army was like pretty small. I think these guys are cognizant of the fact that there's no supply cap, so they just build as many probes as they need. They probably have. I would bet that they have like 80-90 probes right now.
I think that's the right play though. But
yeah.
The thing is, when you are doing that, then you don't have to clear out your ground army at 200. Like we've been doing. So yeah, I'm not sure.
Whole oversaturation on like 5 bases here. There's definitely like at least like maybe 100 probes, dude. But that would explain why, like you have 289 supply, which I've never seen in the game before. But the Protoss army doesn't look that scary. Honestly, the Terran army looks bigger than the Protoss army right now. And if then it looks like they are sieging this top left, this is going to be sort of it could be a deciding factor for the Terran if they win this fight.
Protoss has to go in with their flank though. They can't just sit there.
And yeah, there's a great like mine setup and stuff, and there's only Zealots there, and Zealots going through mines is not great. And so there are Dragoons, but I mean, okay, there aren't that many mines actually.
Yeah, there's like 2 mines, dude.
Yeah, I thought for some reason I thought there were a lot more mines. That's why I'm setting them, but I guess it must be cleared. But yeah, there's 4 arbiters. Yeah, so so I think they're gonna clean it up, and this should be game. I know we called it about 30 minutes ago. But yeah, man. I mean, I think there was a lot of blunders with respect to like I guess they knew they were ahead, right? So they just suicided a lot of units. But now if they get a storm up over these CBs, it's definitely a wrap. But let's see, man. There's a lot of army coming up. And Protoss is double Terran supply right now. Is that a flank coming in from the bottom? What is this?
Over double. They're over doubled.
Oh yeah. Let me just
250 to 100 supply. That's pretty crazy.
let me get a calculator.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I just
I
wanna
don't know for
confirm.
sure, but
Yeah, no, this is. I think they probably have more probes than the Terran's army right now, population. But Terran still lives. There's a SCV transfer going on because the game is continuing.
the game is definitely continuing.
I mean, I guess never give up. But do sometimes give up. You know, like
Just give up.
take that, write that down, kids. Never give up, but do sometimes give up. But the thing is, like, what is happening here, man? Who's controlling this? Is this Hawk? Does he think this is a Zerg? Like, you can't just come out, you know, like Zerg sends like 8 lanes and just, you win the game. It's not how Protoss works, man. It takes honor and diligence to win with Protoss.
Yeah, it only takes 2-3 zealots.
Exactly, and he only had 2, and you need 4. So it's pretty, it's pretty lazy, if anything. We see massive army movement coming in towards that fort. So we're gonna continue seeing this attack and barrage. Protoss definitely knows that that's the only place that Terran is landing from, and that's sort of the only place where Terran can siege their Protoss base from, and have the opportunity to take another base. So it's definitely important that they take us out, but you gotta execute it correctly. You gotta get them stasis off, put some recalls, micro, and for example, these 6 units going in on their own is not the way to go here. You gotta get a great spread on the tanks, so you can only get max 2 tanks on a stasis. So good move by Whip or Crane maybe there.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe Crane. Crane doesn't really play TDP. Specializes in beating Zerg players in PvC, from what I hear. So it's difficult. But yeah, we see some great storms blanketing the entire Terran army. The remainder of the Terran army is frozen. The 3 tanks all clumped up, ripe for a storm. I love seeing that, man. But it's a defense matrix. Yeah, Whip is not trying to lose this game, but I have some bad news for Mr. Whip here, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Whip is thinking, honestly.
Yeah, there's more army coming in. I wonder if there's like a separate scheme that we're not aware of. Like they just need to buy time until like something's supposed to occur at like 9:15. You know what I mean? Like one of those type of schemes. But who knows, man? Yeah, just absurd.
Maybe it's like
200 supply to 64.
It's like that. What was that movie where like? Oh, okay, they tap out. That movie where like they see the videotape or whatever, and then like the girl from the videotape comes and kills them.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name. Like she comes out of the TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of those horror movies. I don't know, how does that relate to this though?
Oh well, maybe they were waiting for Hawk and TT1 to die in real life.
Exactly. Maybe that's what they were waiting on. And Lucia Teen Dogecoin Millionaire is going up 2-1. Crane in a must-win game against Raz, who had the lack of foresight to decide to have his wedding today, instead of being in the gallery.
The gall of these players to have things like work and getting married while they should be playing StarCraft Brood War.
I'm with you, man.
Really disgusting.
Yeah, literally Hitler. We're about to. What does that mean?
Yeah, we will be starting our potentially final game of this first series, but my producer will actually kill me in real life if I don't shout out our donation drive for our next event, Rokusei Rumble 2. If you're unfamiliar, that is our North American team league, kind of like a North American Star League that we ran last fall, and it was a lot of fun. It's actually how we decided the coaches for these teams. My coach Hawk got first place. And yeah, if you are enjoying this event, if you enjoyed our previous events and you just like seeing the top North American players play, please consider donating to that event so we can continue supporting our North American scene.
Yeah, definitely donate. These events are sick. Probably the best produced events in NA. period, and definitely continue to support NA events, man. Shit is sick. This event, this game was played on replay because Raz, decided to be inconsiderate to us and get married today. But we have Kiguri Smacks, also known as Crane, as the orange Protoss in the top left, and Doge Raz as the green Protoss in the bottom right. I haven't played a lot of PvP on Polaris Rhapsody, but just given that it's a 2-player map and it's PvP, I would always go 2 gate here, man. I just don't trust. I would do 10, 12, 21. I don't trust any Protoss, man. Guys are dirty.
Dude.
Dirty.
You'll have to hold my hand through this because I honestly know nothing about PvP.
I got a surprise for you, man. Nor do I. That being said, we see both of the players going for a gate scout, but Crane is looking for any possible proxy gateways. It is a 2-player map, and that's something that happens. Meanwhile, Raz also looking for proxy gates, and that should tell you all you need to know about PvP. So,
are proxy gates really that strong? I mean,
yeah, they surprisingly are, especially if the Protoss is going 1 gate. And Crane is a player that goes 1 gate almost every single game. We see the gas going down at, I believe it was 11, maybe have been 12 for Crane. I missed that. And gas going down. So they're both going for the same build, and they're both looking for proxy gates. And now they're both going to get to each other's base at a pretty similar time. So they're playing almost exactly the same style. And yeah, even the core is in the same place for both players. Typically, I don't like to block the mineral line with the core in a PvP. Because it makes banner pylons like 8 times more dangerous than they need to be. Because if there's a probe, if you're mining on that side of the base of the mineral line, it just makes the probe need to take a really long way to actually mine a mineral. But both of these guys are. Oh, and we see a banner pylon coming in from Raz. Raz is sort of a loose player, I would say. Like he's not like one of those guys that are like following a strict build. Like and I think that's the best way to play PvP. And we see Crane working on his pylon. Yeah, most likely. Can we take a look at the what Raz is up to here? This pylon is definitely going to go down. We don't see range started yet. It looks like so Raz has an odd ratio here of like 150 minerals and 250 gas. Did he make an extra zealot? Like I'm a little confused. Oh, it's because of the manor pylon. That's what it was. It delayed his range. Meanwhile, Crane is hiding a probe in Raz's base, but Raz has sent his first zealot into Crane's main. And yeah, so look at this is another fallback of having the core block your mineral line. So Raz actually used the probes actually have to go all the way around behind the mineral line, and then Raz used another pylon to block those probes in. So that's write that down, guys, man. Don't use a core to block your mineral line in PvP. It's a bad idea. And this is a classic example of why. Meanwhile, Raz did the same thing, but Crane didn't punish it. So yeah, it's
yeah, that's super interesting. It's not something you see every day in PvP. I mean, is it? I don't think it is. I've never seen that before.
What the mineral line? Because I think in the pro scene they don't block. They don't block. I know that like the top players like Bonnet and DeWalt also make sure not to block it. It's just a thing that a lot of Protoss players like to use the same base layout in PvP and PvT, and it's not really the right move. In PvT, you want to definitely block off the mineral lines because of vulture harass, but in PvP, it makes manor pylons obscenely dangerous.
That's crazy. I never even thought about that.
Meanwhile, Crane is sort of a safe player. Let's see what that building is he put up next to the gateway. Is that a robo? Or let's see what that is. Yeah, it's a robo. Meanwhile, let's see if Raz is doing the same thing. We don't see any tech out for Raz yet. Oh, yep, robo. So they're both going for identical builds, actually. Raz a little bit ahead. You can see that in the probe count, mainly because of the harassment from his zealot. I don't know how many probes that zealot killed. I would deem it's at least 1, maybe 2. And that manor pylon definitely affected a lot of mining for Crane for a long time. So Raz is definitely a little bit ahead here. But otherwise, they are going for pretty identical builds. And PvP can be forgiving as long as you play sort of more defensive style. And that is what Crane is known for. And we see him moving out with what looks like 4 Dragoons. 3 Dragoons and a Zealot against 4 Dragoons on a ramp. So Crane's going to need to back up. He's not going to get a lot of luck here against this. He's going to confirm that this is a robo, which is going to be great for him because that means he's not going to need to make an observatory. Meanwhile, I don't think Raz has confirmed the same thing on the other side, so he may need to go a little safer and make an observatory because he doesn't know. And I'm not 100% sure if Raz saw Crane's robo. I assume he didn't. So yeah, Crane could go straight to a Reaver, and Raz will probably need to make an observatory. But given that you're playing against Crane, and if you're playing against the player, you probably know that Crane has never made a DT in his life, so that's another thing to consider.
Yeah. I mean, already though we do. I don't know. Like I said, I have almost no experience in this matchup. Along with TVT, it's probably the matchup in Brood War that I know the least about. But I still feel like Raz has a tech advantage. He's going to get his expansion up a little faster, and he has a probe advantage already, along with the extra little economic advantage he got from that pylon block earlier. So, do you think how significant is his lead right now?
I think it's pretty significant. I think what's going to happen here is Crane is going to go for a 2 Reaver push. He's going to get his expansion a lot later. We see our first Reaver started here. So he's going to get he's probably going to go get his expansion now, but I doubt it. I think he's going to make another round of Dragoons and a second Reaver probably before his expansion. I might be proven wrong. That might just be for a pylon. That might be for Nexus, but I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be for a pylon. So essentially what's going to happen is Crane's going to push with 2 Reavers, and if he can do a lot of damage, he's going to get there, and Raz will likely have 2 Reavers of his own, but Crane will have a shuttle. So depending on how that battle goes, it'll probably determine the entire match, because if Crane loses that battle, he's going to lose the game, right? Because Raz got his natural up, and Crane is taking this risk by taking a much later natural. So he's going to push with just 1 Reaver, actually, and set up his Nexus. So he's Crane doing the Crane thing and taking the middle route. I feel like if you're going to be okay with being behind on your natural, just wait for the second Reaver and make, emphasize the push. But Crane is middle. He plays a lot safer usually than a lot of other Protosses. And depends on how this battle goes, because I don't know if Raz is making a second Reaver, which I think he is, and that's what's going on, instead of a shuttle. So Crane will have a shuttle advantage, but Raz will have 2 Reavers and a defensive advantage. So I don't think it's going to do a lot of damage unless we see a lot of good micro from Crane here. If he can target this Reaver here, that would be great, because Raz can't pick it up, right? Oh, and Crane eats a shot and loses the shuttle and Reaver. Yeah, man, this is Raz's game to lose, man. Crane making a huge blunder. First, not actually picking up the Reaver, and then second, just losing it entirely. Although this Dragoon advantage looks a little big, the 2 Reavers are really strong, man. Takes out 1 Reaver, but I think he's still fine.
Yeah, I mean, despite that huge setback, he did have a really nice Dragoon spread.
Yeah, he definitely did, man. But there's 3 Dragoons. Raz only has 1 Dragoon, but he's got his second setup. He's got probably another Reaver on the way out, Garner, coming out of his Robo, and 2 more Dragoons. Yep, another Reaver, and he's trying to put down the shield battery. I think Raz is completely fine, and this is sort of his game to lose. He's gonna want to cancel that pylon, and you can't be blocking your trope like that. I don't know if Dragoon fits between that pylon and that shield battery, but he's gonna need to make another pylon soon.
Yeah, I don't think that is a Dragoon.
I mean, you know how StarCraft graphics work. He'll probably take it. Yeah, so you see him starting the next pylon because he's going to take that one out. Yeah, but that happens, man. But yeah, man, Raz is probably going to wait for 2 Reavers and a shuttle and continue to accumulate Dragoons. Maybe he'll add some gateways about now. I think would be a good time. And just try to kill Crane. Yep, the gateways are going up. And just have a strong 2 Reaver push to kill Crane. And yeah, we see him taking shuttle speed, actually. So he might actually just go harass Crane and just, have full map control here.
It's actually crazy to me that it took him so long to start getting the second and third gateways up.
Are those his second and third, or are those his third and fourth? I don't. Yes, those are his second and third. Oh, he's been doing all of this off of one gateway, if that is indeed correct. I mean, those look like 2 gateways of units, but I don't know.
No, yeah, he was just on 1 gate. That's why he had such a small amount of Dragoons compared to Crane's.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That's why I was able to get the Nexus up so much earlier. But if Crane controlled his we see the speed shuttle coming in with a Reaver and a Dragoon. But Crane is well set up to defend this. He's got his Dragoon set up a little back. I don't know what his main looks like. He's got spotter pylons, which is another good thing to do. But he's got no Dragoons in his main, and he's gonna have to pull these back. I'm sure he saw that shuttle. No Dragoon. Yeah, Dragoon. The response is a little bit late, so he didn't catch it the first time. And boom! Wow. Yeah, that's a meaty shot. Yeah, Raz can just leave. He did the damage he needs to, and now he just shut up. Oh, he's not done. Oh wow! If that shot hits, man, he didn't target that clump that was coming in. But now he's got a 11. He can't go back in. There's no options left. He's got an 11 probe lead. He's got an army lead. It's lights out for Crane, man. Is that a speed shuttle from Crane? If Crane can get some strong hits, man, maybe there's a chance. PvP Reaver. Oh! Raz defending a little better than Crane had, actually. But...
Where is he?
Boom! That's a... Oh! He
like
nearly evened it out right there. Yeah, he's...
Oh,
and now he's got... Crane's got a pro bleed. Welcome to PvP, folks. Oh man, he's gonna get out almost completely intact and evened up the pro count very quickly. And ahead in army supply. And if Raz lost the shuttle and Reaver as well. It was too aggressive with the shuttle. And meanwhile, Crane's gonna go back in. Is he gonna get another good hit here? Oh no, he's gonna back up. Yeah, Crane making some good moves here, man. I thought he was out of this game.
Yeah,
I thought he was dead, dude. I called him off like it was over.
I was still feeling okay for Raz after he lost those probes, but I didn't realize that he went back in with the shuttle as well. So now I'm a little worried.
Yeah, no, I think Crane now has a lead, man. He's an even probe count. He's got an advantage in army by 7. He's got 1 Reaver. I don't know how many Reavers Raz has. Can we take a look really quickly at Raz's natural? He's got 2 Reavers. So Raz has a Reaver advantage, but Crane has a Goon advantage. It seems like a significant Goon advantage. I only see like 7 Dragoons here for Raz. It's not enough Dragoons, man. And yeah, I mean, if Crane can defend, yeah, that's like over a dozen Dragoons, man. Crane's got a significant advantage there. If Crane can defend this shuttle harassed by Raz, or even better, be able to snipe the shuttle, he's got a commanding lead. Completely turns the game around. And Crane coming in as well.
Oh, no.
Oh wow, that's where Raz the Dragoons are. Okay, that makes sense. Dragoon count looked a little shoddy there.
Did those spotting pounds, were they envisioned for that? Okay.
I don't think Raz has spotting pylons, does he?
No. I mean, Crane's spotting pylons.
Oh, I'm not quite sure. Actually, I wasn't paying attention honestly. Wow, Raz takes out a Reaver as soon as it pops out. It looks like, and so he's gonna get out with this shuttle. Oh, there's another Dragoon. So the IRS Dragoon, man, he's gonna try to get him. Oh! I think Raz. Wow. Raz takes out some probes, but I think he's being a little. Oh wow, he's got a significant probe advantage now. I don't know what's going on, man. This game is ridiculous.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a little too gutsy for me, honestly. Like that could have gone very wrong very quickly for Raz, but it did pay off.
Yeah, man, these guys are playing like I play, but like my shit dies, and you know what I mean? Like you shouldn't do this. It's too risky.
Every time I try, like as an off-race player, my Crane Reavers, like they do literally nothing. Like it's actually a mystery to me. I don't know how they work.
Yeah. See Crane moving out on the map. Crane has a disadvantage now. They've got almost even army supply, but Crane has a worker disadvantage. And yeah, that pylon does go down, unfortunately. And we see Raz setting up 3rd. I don't think he can quite set up this 3rd yet. Crane's going to be able to get this canceled. He's going to have the high ground, I believe, on this map, right? As Raz needs to go up a ramp to fight this. Yeah, he does. So yeah, Crane should be able to cancel this. Crane has an even army account, so with good army control, and if he can control his shuttle Reaver properly, unlike last time, he can actually get something done, but he can't land it there, man. That's the only place you don't want to land it. Oh, come on, Crane. And yeah, I mean, Crane lost both of his Reavers. Raz has the Arc, Raz has the Reaver, and Crane GG's. I think Crane had an even army. If he just placed the Reaver shuttle a little better, not right in the front, you want to keep that as far back as possible where it hits the army, but also where they have to sort of reach past Dragoon range to actually hit it. So not the most ideal Reaver placement. I think with that, Team Dogecoin wins this 3-1, right?
Yeah. So I mean, this is the 5th week, so we are 5-0 now. I think basically, no matter what, we should have first spot clinched for the playoffs, but we'll have to see. That was actually pretty tragic because, I mean, despite what you've been saying, I actually want, like, I wish Crane the best, and man, he was so close. Like, that must be such a heartbreaking loss.
I heard you send him hate mail, like handwritten.
Oh yeah. Well,
and it's like really weird messages, like, oh, it's because you didn't want to play a Zerg off race.
It was actually like it was very nice mail, but I laced it with anthrax. So
gotta have a little anthrax, man. Gotta be unpredictable and spicy, you know. People like spontaneity. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. So
And
maybe that's why he lost this match, because he's actually, you know,
just dying.
He has a bacterial infection that he's not going to survive. We will be going to a short break now in between our next match.
Awesome. See you guys until then.
Hello and welcome back. We will be jumping into our second match now. Fancy Scarves against Revival.
I'm not to be biased, but I was much more excited for the second set of games today than the first set, mostly because of specifically a couple of matchups. One, obviously, Drag and Scarlet. Scarlet, who's been tearing up the scene, and then Drag, obviously. I haven't seen them play yet, at least Drag Zerg. And second is Sugo playing PVZ. I haven't seen Sugo's PVZ ever. I've heard so much about it. But I saw it once, and I think Yaj killed him with like a 9 full speed. So it's I'm kind of excited to see what he's got in store today. So I mean, there's a couple of things. And Tim and Father, like a classic NA match. You know, it's like everybody they probably played 1,000 times against each other. Drag Sugo versus Striker Machine is another great match. See Drag's PVZ and Drag and Sugo showed they were a great team against Jae-Yoon and Crossy. And then hopefully, I honestly am hoping we'll get to an ace match. See what this looks like here, man.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is a really, really close match. Like, I have no idea how to call this one way or the other. I feel like any of these could go either way.
Yeah, man. I think Scarlet's PVZ is kind of crazy. I know Hawk's been beating her a lot, but that's Hawk, right? I don't know. Do you think Dragons? I don't know. For like, I haven't seen Drag's ZVP as much. How would you rate like Drag's ZVP against Hawk's ZVP?
It's kind of awkward for me. I feel like I haven't seen his ZVP enough either. Like, I don't know Dragon that well, so I don't observe his games very often. I only watch him in tournaments, and he might disagree with me. I might be totally off base here, but I feel like just because maybe it's his sort of off race, I feel like maybe it's one of his weaker matchups. But I mean, he's definitely very strong in ZVP as well. So I do think that Scarlet probably has an advantage, but I definitely think it can go either way. But then, like, Striker against Sugo, like, I feel like that's a super even match. Sugo is sort of inactive, and Striker is very active, so maybe he has a bit of an advantage there as well.
Yeah, Striker right here has been getting a lot better recently. I think he's been getting trained by some Korean 2600 Zerg at Didasic. Meanwhile, Sugo has been working 100-hour weeks for the past 3 years. So, I mean, I think Striker definitely got the I guess recency impact, right? Recency bias. Sugo hasn't been playing very much, but let's see, man. I've heard so much about Sugo's play. I've only really seen his PvP and his PvT. Haven't really seen any of his PvZ, so I'm kind of excited to see how he plays. I heard he always goes gate first. Is that true? I haven't seen any. I don't know if you have.
Well, we actually played a game on Polaris where he went Forge first against me, but that might just be because it's Polaris and it has like a super long rush distance.
Mm-hmm. I mean, people have told me he goes gate first. I don't know if they were trolling me because the times I did see him play against Yad, for example, he went Forge first, and he doesn't play that much, so I would be surprised if he's like playing with like sort of the new meta. You know what I mean? When he was playing, I think it was a sort of a Forge oriented meta.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he definitely. I think he normally goes gate first. I do think I think he values like his early game aggression and just like his strong micro and build orders.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, man. I think we're about to start getting into the first game, which is going to be Scarlet versus Dragon. Scarlet, the new sort of absolutely sick. Protoss player, and I think she was an SC2 pro, right?
Yeah, she's literally like still playing in top level StarCraft 2 events while she was playing in this.
Imagine being like insanely good at 2 different games. Imagine even playing 2 different games. I wasn't even aware there was a StarCraft 2. Did you know there was a StarCraft 2? That's insane.
Yeah, I was aware.
Like, why nobody told me?
Well, you were not missing much. Don't worry about it.
And I would never, like, that's like a chess player playing checkers, you know what I mean?
I actually started playing again recently, and I totally respect StarCraft 2 players and everything, but it's just so different from Brood War. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, I can imagine. I would never want to take the easy route, and that's why I play Protoss. It's really the challenging way to go. I play the hardest game and the hardest race, as any person should.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it looks like we're going to be getting into our first match shortly. We are just waiting for our players to get into the lobby here.
Yeah, it's going to be what's the name of this map again? It says this is the Hidden Track.
Yes.
What was the first game we saw last round? It was Whip and Hawk. Was it on, man?
Yeah, well, it was just a few minutes ago. You're forgetting, man.
Bro, it's been a long week. I'm just trying to remember the exact map, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Drag plays a more defensive style as EVP. I wonder if he'll take a far third. I think I've seen Scarlet struggle against this style, against at least against Hawk. You know, she likes to go arbiters against sort of a long game and sort of recall in when Zerg is camping. So I'm kind of excited to see if that's what happens in this game. I'm hoping Drag doesn't go for a defensive style. I like to see like sort of a battle Zerg type play. Like it's just a lot more entertaining. But what I'm really excited to see is Scarlet's PvZ, man.
Yeah.
Good PvZ early game is like watching art in motion. And Scarlet is definitely one of the best for in Protoss versus Zergs, at least especially her early game.
Yeah, and I'd be super interested to see if Dragon goes for that far natural style as well. But I mean, Scarlet did drop a game on a Ultimate Stream, I believe, which is a very strong map for that style to Hawk. So maybe since she has been exposed to it now, she'll have been practicing against it a little bit and be better against it.
Yeah, we see Scarlet as the yellow Protoss in the top left, and Dragon as the blue Zerg on the bottom left. We saw who was it? TT1 going for sort of that mini build. I saw Scarlet practicing a similar build as well, like the no scout gate expand. I'm kind of curious to see if she's gonna go with that now, or if anything would change after seeing how that turned out for TT1.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt she would change her game plan just because TT1 messed up. But I mean, either way, like I said, I don't know if she's been preparing specifically for the Farnat style, but I just feel like she's been doing so well, even though she doesn't have quite as much experience in Brood War as some of these other players, but she's improved so quickly. It's like she's a Dragon Ball character or something, and she's just going to like the hyperbolic time chamber. And like all the effort that she puts into studying and practicing, which is a considerable amount, is like even more effective just because she has that like pro gamer experience under her belt.
Yeah, man, it takes it's not just talent, it takes an incredible amount of hard work and discipline to be able to be good, and to be good so quickly is just a testament to like how like just the amount of work, dedication she's putting in. We see her going in for a pylon at the natural, sent the probe back, which would sort of indicate I think she might be going Nexus first here. She would have sent a probe out by now. Yeah, we're gonna see a Nexus first from Scarlet. Meanwhile, Dragon is going for an overpull here, so I think Scarlet's going to be just fine here with this build, just getting away with the greediest build he can do as Protoss. And the Scarlet definitely plays greedy. That's one thing I'll note. Like, every time... Scarlet has observed some of my games, and I feel embarrassed because I'm over here putting up, like, forage before a core, and I know that that's, like, a shameful thing to do, I'm sure, when she's observing. So it's just, like... It's just tough, man.
It's not shameful.
It's shameful because she does it all the time, and I just, I feel inadequate when I play like a regular person.
I mean, yeah, it depends on what's happening in the game, right?
Absolutely. Listen, these people aren't even scouting. It doesn't matter what's happening in the game. No, but I mean, she's putting the forge down. We're gonna see probably a cannon as soon as the forge finishes, and it'll barely get up in time for an overpull. However, if Drag went for a 9 pull, obviously she'd 100% be dead right now. We see 6 lings. I assume Drag is gonna. We're gonna find out what's in these eggs. I assume there's 6 lings, and if they go straight to Scarlet's natural, she's gonna have to pull some probes. Oh no, it's 2 lings and a drone. The most 2 drones and 2 lings. Yeah, the most Drag thing that could ever happen is for him to only make 2 lings. Drag is sort of a, he's sort of a more passive player for sure.
I think that's the correct play, though. I mean, yeah. If he scouted that this was Nexus first, maybe he could have tried to punish it a little bit with some extra lings.
He did scout it though, didn't he?
Did he? Yeah, I'm sorry. I totally missed that.
Yeah, his drone. He just sent a drone scout.
Okay.
The force timing. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so out of it.
Meanwhile, these lings will still get in, I think, and yeah. And so, 1 ling will get in, so that'll basically do nothing. But that's a big probe transfer for a Nexus for 6 probes, and there's already a probe in the natural. She's going to have to put 3 probes on gas, is the reason. I don't know how many probes are total in the main. It looks like maybe 8. So once you 9. So yeah, so it looks like too large of a probe transfer from Scarlet, but that's a little bit of a little thing. But yeah, man. Typically, if you're going Nexus first, you only want to send 4 or 5 probes.
Well, I don't know. If she has 9 in her main, like...
Yeah, but her gas is going up. You're going to have to send 3 to gas pretty quickly, so she'll have 6 mining.
Oh yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah, and I think there are more patches in the main than the natural as well. So it's, there's 7, but she's also making probes still in the natural. So
literally unplayable.
Literally unplayable. But those are small things. yeah, so that you see more of 10 probes in the natural. So definitely a little bit. She's definitely gonna kick herself in the foot if she watches it. Maybe there are nerves playing on stream, but maybe it's just a habit, because typically you want to send 6 or 7. So, and we see the lair going up for drag, and we see the far third. So he's definitely gonna go for sort of a macro style, probably gonna tech towards hive, I would guess, right? I mean that would be the only reason to take that far third.
Yeah. So with the far third, usually, I mean, it depends on what the Protoss does. You do have to play reactively. You might have to get early defenses if they're going for some kind of like early zealot push, but it does look like Sorel's going for, Stargate, very, very straightforward, macro-based game, standard game plan. So we should see Dragon going forward, going up to 6 hatcheries, right? So he's going to take that 4th expansion, and then he's going to get his SimCity hatcheries at both his naturals before he even lays down his Hydra Den.
Oh wow, that's right. We see Scarlet setting up for essentially a 7-minute 7:30 timing. It's going to be probably a little quicker than 7:30 because she went Nexus first and everything moves up a little quicker. We see her +1 already starting. See the Citadel going down. As soon as the Citadel finishes, it'll start speed. So we'll see. I mean, let's take a look at the core. Is the core spinning? I want to know if she's getting +1 air.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
So, but we did just see her cancel a Corsair, so she might go ahead and just cancel the +1 as well. I don't know what she saw that led her to cancel a Corsair. Oh, she started it back up again. Maybe she.
Yeah, that's strange because. I can't imagine why she would have canceled it. I mean, obviously she might have wanted to get something else up sooner, but yeah, definitely one of the best ways to deal with this, just put a little bit of extra pressure on the Zerg, is to kind of spam Corsairs a little bit and force Zerg to get spores and just get their Hydra speed and range before they get their lurkers, and just put a little bit of extra pressure on them in terms of just going to town on the overlords. In fact, a lot of players usually even get +1 air carapace with these builds, just so their overlords can survive a little bit longer, and Scourge can survive a little bit longer to thin out the Corsair numbers. We'll have to see what Scarlet decides to do.
Yeah, we see the first Corsair in the natural. You don't want to lose that first Corsair, and she loses it right away. We see a second Corsair out. I think in this situation you got to turn her back. I think maybe she's trying to confirm. Has she seen where the third is? You don't want to lose the second Corsair for sure. And I guess she could be confirming the fourth. Dragon State is that an early fourth? It looks early to me, but I could be wrong.
No, it's not with this build.
Okay.
Like I said, generally you want to get all 6 of your hatcheries, and one of those will be at the 4th before you start producing fighting units.
Got it. Yeah, losing that first Corsair, I don't know if she can really move out with the existing Corsairs for this push. We see her moving out with the Zealots, and by the time speed and +1 hits, she'll be almost at the natural, now is the right time to move out.
This is really scary. This is really, really scary for Dragon, because I don't think he saw that. His wings were a little far back.
You're absolutely right. He has no overlord in the front, and she went around the side, and and Dragon has 1 sunken up. Yeah, and she can even probably just run by, but she's gonna go and take out the sunken. She could probably take down the Hydra Den, and stop the Hydra upgrades, which definitely cripple Dragon.
This is so devastating as a Zerg player to realize that the units that you thought you had in front of their base to scout were placed, and honestly, I think Dragon is just dead here. I don't think that he can come back from this. I mean, look at the supplies.
Yeah, I think this is a game because you just take out the Hydra Den, right? Plus, Lynx can't fight +1 Zealots. It's just not possible. It's like meat trying to fight a Shredder. He can't do it. But he's trying to defend as best as he can, put up another sunken.
Yeah, this is basically over.
This is the literal symbolism of getting caught with your pants down, man.
Yeah, I honestly feel pretty bad for Dragon here. Yeah. But that's just something that you need to be extremely aware of if you're going for this kind of build.
Yep, and drag GGs. Yeah, no, absolutely, man. You've got to know when the Protoss is moving out. And I completely missed the fact that he didn't see it.
Yeah, if he had his Lings in place with his SimCity and he bought time for that second Sunken to get up, I mean, maybe he could have held that. But, yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, man. You can't make these kind of mistakes at high level PvZ, man. It's absolutely, and that's what happens when you're playing against a player like Scarlet. She closes it out, man. Just kills. But our next game is going to be a Striker versus Sugo. Let's see if Sugo can even this up with his famed and his fabled PVZ that I've always heard of. You know, Striker does have a case of sometimes having tournament nerfs. So let's see if that impacts him here.
Yeah, I mean, but so they're both on NAS, right? I wonder if they play with each other a lot.
Maybe. I don't think Sugo plays too much in general. Like it's not like he plays in secret. When he plays, he's on and it's pretty obvious. So I think it's just a matter of Sugo not playing that much. I know he's been on recently. I played a couple games with him, but I don't know how active he's been. See, man. If you ask some people, PVZ doesn't require any practice. So let's see. And then we're about to get ready to get into game 2.
Yeah. So, I'll be starting the game in just 1 second.
I love watching PVZs. Maybe that's why I like the second series better.
It's my favorite matchup too. But we will see our blue Zerg Striker in the 12 o'clock position and our red Protoss Sugo in the bottom left position. Right off the bat, I think that 12 o'clock is very, very good in terms of like mining efficiency. So
I mean, that's the case on Sylphid. Is that the case on this map as well?
I think so. I think just having, I mean, it's similar mineral layout, so I would assume it's the same case on Ascension. But I actually don't know for sure, so maybe I'm just straight up wrong.
Maybe you're just straight up lying, and you're a
Yeah,
bad person.
I actually just made that up. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I know you haven't played this match that much. Definitely haven't been testing the mineral mining efficiency.
Well, see, I actually have played a decent amount of this map, but for me, that mineral benefit is negated because I always mess up my split when I get 12 o'clock.
Got it. Yeah, those vertical splits, having like a 12 o'clock or a 6 o'clock is always tough. Not that there's a 6 o'clock on this map, but you know what I'm saying. Sugo setting up for a 9 gate, which is sort of what I like to play as well. Keep it simple, stupid, but that pro's got a mineral. He's not going to scout with it, right? Oh, he's going to scout with it. Why would you waste a mineral, Sugo? Why did you send it to mine, Sugo?
Well, I mean, I will say, Sugo probably is not as active as Striker because I think very few are as active as Striker in the foreign scene. But at the same time, Striker does. He plays kind of the same standard style every game, right? He's kind of like a known quantity almost. So in that regard, I think it plays into Sugo's hands a little bit, where like Sugo knows he's going to play standard, so he can kind of cut corners either in terms of playing more aggressively or in terms of playing more greedy economically, and maybe make up for his disadvantage in activity that way.
Well, I mean, Sugo's going to like what he sees here. I mean, ultimately, like, hatch first, technically, if played perfectly, is like a disadvantage for Protoss when Protoss goes gate first. But in practice, it allows Protoss to be a lot more aggressive, especially with the 9 gate. So let's see if Sugo... and there's a couple of options for Sugo here. So when you see a hatch first, you can go 1 Zealot and just throw down a Nexus and a Forge. Or you can sort of go 2 Zealots and, try go more greedy and go for a gas. But then you have to really keep that first Zealot alive. So we see Sugo setting up for... well, it looks like it's just a 1 Zealot, so I would 1 Zealot Nexus. Let me get back. What's he sending?
Do you think he's not making a second Zealot? Yeah, I'm surprised he's not sending out the first Zealot because it's like I feel like Ascension is a very, very good map for placing Zealots behind mineral lines. Like
I think it's a missed opportunity, man. I think he should have sent that out. I don't why did he send that back? I don't know. Was this an 11 hatch? Did we miss something? Like what? I'm a little confused here as to why he sent that Zealot back. But it is the case. Let's see. Yeah, and he's going gas. Okay, so he's going gas before Forge. So he needs to keep that Zealot alive because he's playing insanely greedy here. So he went gas before a second Zealot. So yeah, this Zealot needs to stay alive. The second Zealot needs to pop up now, and he's done it for. It's gonna be a tough defense for Sugo here, man.
You think so? I don't know. I mean, that's only 6 lings, right? Striker isn't like overcommitting here.
That is true. But let's see, man. I think
actually just 5.
Yeah, but when you see the Forge isn't done, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity. Is the top sealed?
I see you say that, but I kind of disagree because, like, it would be an opportunity if he was already making the lings, but you can't see that Forge just finishing and then decide to go lings. Like, you have to already have the lings making.
That's a good point. I think I just play overly defensive sometimes. I just imagine that Zerg can just make units whenever they want, and it seems like they do, man. Basugo is not starting a cannon yet either. And see, does he have a core before a cannon going up in the main? Let's take a look there. Yep, that's exactly what he's doing. He's basically, he's mini. This is Sugo mini. And
Yeah.
now finally starts.
Because he knows he's safe. He's scouting. He sees everything that Striker is doing, and he knows that Striker is not. First of all, like I said, Striker has a reputation of being a very standard macro-based player, so he already is like slightly less likely to go lane all in. But then when you have the probe scouting, obviously you just have that extra layer of security where you don't have to worry at all.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Striker is letting this probe stay alive, so freely. He doesn't have link speed, so I guess he might not really have a choice. But it's a little surprising here. Now we see 4 zealots. We see the +1 started. Let's look in the main with the core is looking like these links aren't going to do anything. Yeah, so Stargate and Citadel going up. Yeah, I mean, so we're going to a really standard mid game. I think he has a lead right now, right? Like that's what I would say.
I think he has a very slight lead, but I think it's pretty even. Maybe it's like, I don't know, 51-49 or something. But you did mention that Striker. You were surprised that Striker was letting that probe stay alive. Mm-hmm. I honestly think that. I mean, I do that sometimes too in my games, and when I do that, because I'm just like very comfortable. Like I don't care if the Protoss player scouts, because I feel like I have an advantage if I get my macro game, and they can see what I'm doing. Like it doesn't matter. So I think it might be a little cockiness almost.
It could be. But we do know that Striker has had tournament nerves. I don't know if it's some of that. If your hands are a little clammy, it's a little harder to kill the probe. We see speed is done, and we see now a group of around 10-12 lings. I wonder if he's setting up for like a possible run by. Wait for the zealots to move out and just sort of run by. Meanwhile, we see Sugo setting up for a 1-1, like the 7:30 timing here. Second game we're going up, so very standard mid game build going in from Sugo, and very standard from Striker as well. We see a 5 hatch, Evo chamber getting set up, so really just a very classic game. Scourge should be almost done now, right? Yep, Surge are out. I don't think this Corsair is gonna get a single kill. Yep.
Yeah, it's always so great as a Zerg player when you don't lose even one Overlord to Corsairs.
Yeah, it's a pretty shitty feeling as a Protoss. To go, playing this properly though, setting up a cannon when Scourge are out, and you just put a cannon by your Stargates. It can sort of screw you over later if you don't. So go expanding his gate count. We should see essentially an aggressive Zealot move out and transitioning into sort of a bunch of High Templar with Storm. And we see the timing going up now. And let's see if this move out will look the same as it did when Scarlet moved out. But we see Striker has essentially 5 mutas set up now. That should be able to help him defend, right? How do you feel as Zerg in this position?
I feel like this is like a perfect response from Striker, honestly. And yeah, forcing those Zealots to move back, like really. Maybe if you mess up a Zerg and you don't have any Zerglings to block the Zealots, like they can do some damage if they run straight into the main or something, because it does take mutas a while, but Striker is more than well defended enough to deal with that. Like he has Zerglings to buffer and buy time for the mutas, and yeah, forcing the Protoss back in their base gives you such a big window to just drone to your heart's content and start getting your Hydra tech up. Like, man, look at all these drones from Striker. This is just the perfect saturation. He's really just sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, we see Sugo is a supply block right now, and it's a super deflating feeling as a Protoss when you move out and they have 5 mutas out. He's putting his Robo in his main, which I don't know is the greatest position. I'll probably put it in the natural. We see 2 DTs coming out. Do you think he's going to be a Dark Archon? Is he expecting like mass mutas? Like, I wonder what he's doing with his DTs.
Really, you think do you normally put your Robo in the natural? Why?
100% of the time.
Just so you get the Observer out in the natural.
Yeah. So like for example, let's give a hypothetical scenario where your lurker contained, and that's the scenario where observers are like most critical. They get sniped. You want it to be as close to sort of your natural opening as possible. as in like you want it to be able to be able to support your push. You'll notice that the vast majority of Protoss place it there just because it cuts the amount of time it takes for the observer to get to the battlefield.
Okay.
Out of your natural.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never realized that actually.
Yeah, I mean that's like the most critical point. Like if you're using observers aggressively, it doesn't matter where your robo is, but it's very if you're getting contained or the Zerg is playing a Hydra style, which he isn't, so maybe that's why I put it in the main. But I opt to always put it in the natural. Yeah, what happened to the ZTs? I wonder where those guys are, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
those guys are invisible. Maybe we need an observer. Yeah, I completely missed that. I wonder if he didn't create a shuttle, did he? Like, a shuttle got sniped or something?
That's what I was thinking, but I don't think he would have gone for an early shuttle when he doesn't have air control.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, those ZTs are invisible. I know what a Terran feels like right now. Yeah, and I think Sharky's got full control over this game.
Okay, there is a shuttle.
I'm a fucking fortune teller.
Sugo is a gutsy man, because when you don't have air control like that, and you know that Zerg has a fleet of Scourge and Mutas running around,
very careful.
A shuttle is insane, actually.
I think Sharkus saw that. That Ling was almost.
I think he saw it. I don't know. I would say that he saw it, but
I guess we'll be able to tell based on his Scourge movements, right? Man, he might not have seen it.
Yeah, I mean, the Ling was just on patrol. It's easy to miss things like that on the mini-map.
Yeah, and Sugo's sending the Corsairs to the main, so he's gonna try to clear out the Overlords and dump, and just start his life. Sugo looks pretty good, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's macroing well. He looks like he's willing to take his third. Ooh, that is devastating, though.
Yeah, when Corsairs are separated from the army, man, I think every single high tempo Sugo has can get killed right now.
Amazing opportunity from Striker just jumping in. Like, he doesn't realize that the Corsairs are absent because they're spotting and making way for this drop. But he should be guessing that now that he sees the Corsairs trying to thin out these Overlords in the main.
Yeah, your Spidey sensor should be going up now. Like, this is sort of an abnormal action to keep the Corsairs away from.
He already is moving the Zealots. I mean, the drones. I don't even know if he saw the shimmer of the invisible DTs, but he just instinctively moved the drone.
The red. I think the shuttle was in right by the creep.
Oh, okay.
That. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, he took the spy route, which is a relief always actually. It's not like any concrete game, but like it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's definitely not what Sugo wanted.
Oh yeah, he's just eating all those levels. He's going back in for more, man. He's trying to double up, and Striker's got to be feeling good, man. Striker is up 20 supply, 30 supply right now with Sugo. Yeah, and Sugo's not getting up this ramp for the rest of this game. Period.
No, I don't think. Yeah, Sugo just GG's out. That was perfectly played by Striker, honestly.
Yeah, Fancy Scribe's taking a 2-0 lead, and so they can actually close it out if in the next team melee game, Striker and Machine versus Dragon. So go Striker Deshaun. Man, like you got to learn new tricks, old man. Like he's Striker's been working on his game, and it's really showing. Do you have any predictions for this team melee? It's gonna be played on Eclipse, so we're gonna see another PVZ. That's why I didn't even realize they're all PVZs, man. And the one non-PVZ is a PVT between Father and Tim, assuming that even gets played.
Yeah. Well, every week I say that I think Protoss should have the advantage, but Zerg just keeps winning, man. So I don't know. I'll just say Striker Machine have the advantage. I can only be wrong so many times before I just accept the loss, right?
I think you just jinxed Striker and Machine is what you just did, man.
Well, that's good because I want to see more of this matchup.
That's true. I do want to get to see Father and Tim, so I'm actually going to be rooting for Dragon Sugo here. As much as I like Striker and Machine, I do want to see the Father Tim game as well, and hopefully even see an ace match. So that means I'm also going to be rooting for Tim. Sorry, Father. So we'll see, man. I love Eclipse for PvZ. I love watching PvZs on this map. I love playing PvZs on this map. I know you hate it, even though it's about physically a completely fair map.
Well, look. Jokes aside, I know I embellish the truth and everything, but you can't say that's a fair map. The one advantageous matchup that Zerg has is EVP, right? So if it's even approaching 50%, it's.
So you're saying because it's fair, it's unfair?
Yeah, exactly.
That's some real fucking brain gymnastics you're doing right now, man. Because it's fair, it's unfair. Because it would only be fair if it was unfair against. Yeah, that's some real. You should go to the Olympics and do your gymnastics over there, man.
I appreciate that.
That's some bullshit. And yeah, so we're about to go into this game. Machine and Striker just seem like such a cohesive. And maybe they're not cohesive. Maybe they're cursing each other out and hate each other, and they just
maybe they're actually just complete assholes.
They're both just fighting. They're fighting over the units.
Like they're actually two of the nicest people around, but like they're only nice to other people. But when they deal with each other, it's like,
oh man, it's like a knife fight.
Man. Yeah. Like something about their personalities just like turns them into monsters. But despite that, they still win.
Despite the odds being against them, they still win. But now we have Drag and Sugo, and we know these guys are both no jokes in PvZ. Striker did just beat Sugo, but Drag may have the best PvZ in NA. Like I don't know, like who are the other options? Right, TT1, Scarlet.
I think Drag and Sugo are actually like a perfect team too, because I know that they've both played on the same team with each other for like a long time, and Dragon is noted for being a very, very like calm and calculating. He's like the Hawk of Protoss, right? Like he's very good with his builds, and he's very patient. But his micro is kind of like, I've heard players say that it's not as good as his like macro and decision making. So just having one other person, a very experienced Protoss player, microing for him while he's just controlling everything else could be the perfect combination, right?
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, man. And yeah, we have the I don't know what color this is, man. This is a pale green, like a faded hospital wallpaper green.
I think it's actually called pale green in the game engine, so
I call it mental hospital wallpaper green. And we have the blue Zerg on the bottom left.
I've never been in a mental hospital, so
I just came back from one today. I have to go back in right after this cast, actually.
Oh well, I hope you enjoy your time out.
They don't know I'm here.
Well, I hope you enjoy your time out regardless. I mean, I didn't say it was like officially condoned.
Tell them. You're gonna tell them, aren't you?
No, please don't hurt me.
So yeah, I mean, I wonder if they're gonna go for it. So I know you've heard my thoughts before on what I think about Gate First in the team melee. I think it's a mistake, but let's find out. And yeah, if we see a Forger, I think it's a better move coming in.
No, I think that's pretty widely like accepted as
someone had disagreed with me. I thought it was you.
No, it was me because
well,
before this tournament, like this is the first time, as far as I know, that a team melee has actually been done in any kind of like high level foreign tournament. So my own personal experience was like playing against kind of lower skilled players in team melee, right?
Right.
So I just thought like Gate Fast Expand is like overpowered as fuck because it can absolutely dominate like lower level players, but when you're dealing with players like these guys who know how to respond properly.
Yeah, I just don't want to live in a world where Machine's only job is to control 3 lanes in my name. I'm not gonna win, I'm not gonna get it.
Exactly. So yeah.
That's the problem. That's why you don't want to go Gate First against like in a PvZ team melee. The biggest flaw, I guess, if you're playing one-on-one for the Zerg is that vast majority of Zergs, unless you're like 2200, like don't really have multitask to really take advantage of having 2 lanes in the main. They ultimately suffer for it. So
yeah, when you're playing Zergs that are below like S rank, it's almost worse for the Zerg to get Zerg lanes in your main because like unless you completely drop the ball.
Something that Protoss is like not brain dead.
Yeah.
Also, it's like you can't assume that they're not because most of them are.
Well, but yeah.
I mean, I accept that. I agree with that.
But, according to players like Effort and so on, like anyone below like 2600 MMR is basically like a subhuman cretin. So,
Imagine
different
being
players
so
have
fucking-
different perspectives on what constitutes skill and having a brain.
Bro, effort probably won't even like eat with like in the same room as someone with a sub 2600 MMR. Imagine he just sort of spits on him.
Yeah, he does. He does seem like the kind of guy who'd just be a total dick to everyone he comes across.
No, effort seems actually like a really nice guy. I don't know. I'm saying this. He seems like one of the nicer guys. I might be wrong. What is happening with these probes, man? You have one job.
You have one job. Come on, Drag.
God damn it, Drag. Sugo's keeping his probe alive. Why aren't you transferring the probes on time, Drag? You see, this probe is never getting in. That's a striker special. Having the two lings on the ramp.
Yeah, never getting in, but also never dying. Or
I mean, if this is
it's
your
actually
only
taking
job,
some
it's
damage.
better never die. Yeah, it's taking a lot more damage. Why is it dancing when in between four lings? Take a wider route. Those lings aren't going anywhere. But yeah, we see a 3-hatch Hydra coming in. This is a great build, especially on these positions. I think if it was the opposite positions, I don't think Zergs like to have Hydras as much vertically, you know, like on this choke.
Yeah. If it was separate positions, I think
It
I mean-
might have gotten something different.
if you do like some mind game gymnastics, then you can say like, well, Protoss
I mean,
won't
you have
expect
pretty
it.
good gymnastics. Yeah, that's
Protoss
true.
won't expect it, so then you could do it and maybe catch them off guard. But yeah, I've seen pros essentially say like, this position is so good for 3-hatch Hydra, just like go 3-hatch Hydra, because you're gonna get the forge, you're gonna get the gateway, you're gonna have an advantage if you know how to do the build properly, which Striker most assuredly does. This guy is like a fucking build scientist.
Yeah, no, yeah, Striker is he's one of those guys that like if you had to play dodgeball against him, and yeah, the Protoss are gonna see the Hydras, so he's gonna have to throw some cannons. Getting those Zealots out on the map is great. Like I would even
Wait.
want to maybe hide them for a little bit.
Okay, though, I want you to expand on the dodgeball reference that you're making. Can you explain that to me?
If you were to play dodgeball against Striker, he's the guy that would keep like a spreadsheet of all the players and where they had like recent injuries and surgeries, and he would throw 98-mile-an-hour dodgeballs that were in the right angle.
Oh, okay, like yeah, if someone had like an injury, he'd aim the dodgeball at their
Exactly, and
like,
he would know exactly
damn.
who got hurt where and what their recovery period was.
That's actually
like.
sadistic as fuck. I didn't know Striker was fucked in the head like that. That's messed up.
He's like a math nerd that is also like, you know, a Dexter, you know.
Oh yeah, so he's actually the only reason he's so nice is to cover up the fact that he's a serial killer.
Yeah, exactly. He probably even works in forensics.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's confirmed as a fact, but I've heard this from many people. Everybody's talking about
Yeah, everyone. People are saying that.
And when this come out, I can't even.
Many people, like, I don't know for sure, but many people are saying that Striker is actually a serial murderer in real life.
It's all anybody can talk about, but you know, you didn't hear it from me.
I'm not going to name names.
I
don't
wouldn't
want to get anyone in trouble. But
exactly. I mean, I wouldn't say that about Striker. I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying that.
no, yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't say that about him. That'd be crazy to say that about him, but
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
I'm just
people
saying-
are.
Exactly, and I think just people should look into it. That's all. You know?
Yeah, just asking questions.
Perfect response from Dragon Sugar here. They do lose the forge, but it looks like they were a little late in setting up the new forge. Like when I see a 3-hatch Hydra, I just cancel the +1. It's not going to get done, and I start a new forge in my main, just because your upgrade's going to finish quicker if you started earlier in your main. And so we see that coming up a little late, but Striker Machine transitioning over to drones. They got their job done. They deleted the +1. They have map control, and now they're just going to transition into the mid game.
So, as a as a Protoss player, how do you feel in a position like this? How do you like playing against a 973 when, you know, Zerg gets this early advantage?
So I'm not fully comfortable playing against it, but what I like, there's a couple of options, right? There's like two main routes you can go. You can throw down a bunch of gateways and go speed lots. Essentially, you want to be able to punish the Zerg. You don't want them to be able to take a fourth and drone up too heavily. So you want to make sure you keep them honest. That's one option. The other one is a lot of Protoss like to go heavy tech instead, and rush to like a DT drop or something of that nature. We see obviously Dragon Sugar going for the heavy zealot push with the +1 speed. I don't see a Templar Archive anywhere yet, so it's just going to be speed lots. It looks like. And that's the route they're going. I know that like players like Shuttle like to go with the DT drop. I know Bisu also likes to do that. It depends on your style. I tried the DG drop, I'm not good enough to pull it off. I like the speedbot style. I'm not fully comfortable with it, but like depending on the Zerg you're playing against, you know, like a lot of Zergs usually expect to kill with the 973. I guess such a huge advantage, so a lot of them fold after. I don't suspect that's going to be the case here.
Yeah, I don't want to like be an armchair psychologist here and say that you're like literally a serial killer for thinking that, but honestly, I do think that maybe that's like a result of being like lower A, higher B rank that I know that you are. Like, I feel like a lot of lower Zergs honestly view 973 as just a way to kill. But the true strength of the build comes in knowing when you do have the opportunity to kill, but also realizing when you should just like take the advantage that you do have and make it into a macro game, because that's what the build is really about.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. A lot of lower, like I guess mid to lower B Zergs, like they are not sure exactly how many drones to make versus, you know, Hydras or whatever, how to balance that after the 973. So a lot of times you can catch them going way too greedy, you know, getting a fourth and then droning up and then just sort of dying to the Zealot follow-up. Or on the other hand, just not making enough drones and they sort of find themselves all in against the Protoss that's not going to die because I have 6, 7 gateways pumping Zealots. So, but Machine and Striker showing how to play this perfectly. They knew the Zealot follow-up. They didn't take the fourth and they transitioned straight to Lurkers, and that's the perfect response here.
Honestly, 9734 is like a totally different beast too. Like I've tried it before and I just get absolutely curb stomped every time I do it. I'm getting a little bit better, I think, at transitioning out of 973 into like an advantaged macro mid game. But yeah, they're playing so well. These Zealots are a little threatening right now, just running by. But I think Machine and Striker should be okay.
Yeah, I don't think an Observer is even close to coming out. Can we take the natural Dragon Sugo? Is there a Robo in there? Yeah, so see, the Robo's in a natural. That's where I would probably put it as well. I don't know if the Observatory is done. Oh, it's an Observer literally out. I'm blind. So they should be okay against this Lurking Contain. I actually kind of like Dragon Sugo's position here. I think Machine has the lead, but I think they're okay.
They're going to be able to cancel that fourth for sure.
Yeah, great move.
And getting out with all those Zealots is huge. Like it sucks so much for a Zerg when you see these Zealots just like running around and you can't catch them, and then you can't even kill them to punish them, like delaying your fourth and so on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's great. Like if you're at this point in the game, and I try to do this too as well, but definitely not as well as these guys are doing. But if you keep all your Zealots alive, not just alive, but the vast majority of them look healthy. You know, they took a couple of Lurker spans early, but mostly to the shields. And what is that? 6 High Templars, almost at 2 storms each. I would. Can we click on one and see if it has a storm energy upgrade? No, not yet. But each of them has at least 1 storm. And if you have one guy dedicated to storming, you know what I mean? Like this is a scary army. And I think what I would guess they're going to do is they're going to try to set up a third and position to pressure against the fourth. Zerg can either counter or defend the fourth. And to defend the fourth, they're going to have to come up that ramp sort of in a clump. And that's like prime storming ground. But Shark and Machine getting ahead of that and getting in position before the Protoss army does, which is the right move here. If you're not in position, man, coming up that ramp, you know, that little high ground thing, it's so fun to storm Zergs there. Yeah. I mean, one of the reasons that I personally don't like playing Eclipse as Zerg is because it's so hard to position, like, on Polypoid, for example. Oh, yeah, that was a pretty good storm. Sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
Yeah. Polypoid, for example, like, it's not my favorite map, but it is a pretty decent standard map. Like, it's easy to set up everything that you want to set up and play kind of like a safe turtle style to get into the late game with like 4 bases with a healthy saturation rate. But on Eclipse, you have to constantly be cognizant of where the enemy army is. You have to have everything moving around. Like there's so many pathways that Protoss can take. You can't have like a static setup and feel comfortable.
No, I definitely agree with that. And given the sort of your style, I know you like to go into like the mid-late game, or kill in the early. I think you like 4-player maps, right? To be able to set up like a far third, or like, you know, going into the late game. Oh, is this a how much did he kill with these Lurkers? There you see 5 kills on one, 19 on the other, 24 kills.
That's devastating. Look how.
Wait, what happened to the main?
Holy shit!
We missed this completely. Oh, 10 on that one.
Oh my god.
And 23, 47 probe kills.
They're just going for it, I think. They're just going to go for this push now because they
can't win.
That is absolutely insane.
Completely missed that sick drop from Machine and Striker.
And you can see they're tilted because these storms are not good. I mean,
I mean,
they're killing units, but they were storming their own units too, and they're just going to clean it up here. This is, oh my god, that was devastating. That's amazing.
insane. I wish I could have seen that. Fuck. Wow.
That might be the best lurker drop I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, 47 probes.
Holy moly.
At least there was another like 5 or 6, and oh my god, insane. So what does that make? This is 2-1. This means we're gonna see Father and Tim, right?
No, 3-0
Yeah,
for
that's
Fancy
Oh.
Scraps.
Shit, unacceptable.
Yeah. Man,
Unbelievable.
dude, Striker Machine are a fucking powerhouse. They're like complete. I think that speaks to how amazing it is for a Team Melee team to. I mean, obviously, they're two very skilled players in their own right, but like we've said time and time again, they're both very similar players in terms of play style. So I feel like they're just completely on the same page, and it's just
Yeah.
a pleasure to watch. Like they're performing so well together.
Yeah, it's insane, man. I think they're completely in sync. I mean, you got two likely serial killers. I didn't say it, but everybody's talking about it, and I think they just work really well together, man. Yeah, I'm excited to see more of Machine and Striker together, man. These guys are insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, even if Machine is a serial killer, like I would want him to be my serial killer.
Yeah, I feel like he would like
he'd still
let
be
me call my
really,
parents, what I
really
mean?
nice about it. Like he would kill me really well and really nicely.
Yeah, really. And Striker would do it very like efficiently. You know, it'd be quick.
Yeah,
Fine.
but Machine would make sure I felt good before I
Yeah,
let
there'd be a
this-
pillow
you
on
know,
the deathbed.
shuffled
Yeah,
off this mortal coil.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree.
But you know, I don't know if they're serial killers. That's just what people are talking about.
So I mean, it's all everyone's talking about, and I've heard some things, some rumors. Like, there's literally video footage. But anyway, you just do your own research. But yeah, that
wake up,
concludes
people.
tonight, man.
Yeah, so fucking insane by Fancy Scars though. Like I actually can't. Dude, I'm so giddy after watching the fucking lurker
I'm
drop. That was
a little
fucking sick,
traumatized,
dude.
man. Oh man, I don't think that was. I think that was a war crime. We need to call the Geneva
I want
Convention.
to. I'm just gonna go
Geneva
rewatch this
lurker.
pod. I'm just gonna keep. I'm gonna watch it on repeat for the next 24 hours. Actually, I'm gonna actually like strap myself into a chair and strap my eyes open and just watch the on
You don't need to
repeat.
know about your gratification.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should keep my finishes to myself. But yeah, watching probes die to lurkers is definitely up there in terms of. Oh man.
Yeah, man. I thought I had a bad day, but now I feel a lot better. Yeah, that concludes it, man. Team Revival losing it to Fancy Scars 3-0. Scarlet Striker and Striker Machine pulling it through. Clean sweep.
Yeah, let me hold on. I gotta pull up the stats here real quick.
Stats. We don't believe in numbers here, man.
Stats. We're all about stats. We're only. Aren't you a data scientist?
So some people say. I don't know for sure.
So Fancy Scarves is now 3-2. So solid second place. Obviously, Dogecoin Millionaires 5-0.
Wow.
But yeah, like so, Fancy Scarves is solid second place. 3-2 versus the 2-3 of Revival of Brood War. Very, very close for those mid-range teams that aspire to be as skilled and handsome as the Dogecoin Millionaires.
Yeah, man. Skilled, handsome, beautiful. You guys have 6 toes. Like you have everything. You need to get
Charismatic.
everyone. Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I have 10 toes.
Wow. I didn't realize I was talking to a 10-toer, man.
Yeah, because I mean, I still have both of my feet, not just one deformed one.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm a 10-toer too. I don't brag about it like you do. All right, well, that concludes it. Bye, guys.
Yes, have to see everyone next week.
Bye.